man.
It looked like you waiting on the bus. What's going on, fellas?
I'll give you $20
Yeah, oxen man about town.
What's up, Pirate? How you living today?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing, Ron?
I'm cool. Can't complain.
You tired from cooking everybody so hard yesterday?
No, that's a daily thing.
Taking the whole panel to the wall.
Yeah, nah. I'm used to being a chef. What's up, Domo? How you feeling? You ready to get in your bag today?
Hey, man, great day today. Tremendous day. Tremendous day. I feel great. Hey, one of like the 3 teams I'm ready to really examine for real.
Okay, damn. What y'all hear that?
Damn, yeah.
Everybody cool? Who's
mic is
somebody's
that?
mic is wilding.
Wait, Ron.
I hear it.
Oh, Ron, that's you. It stops whenever you mute your mic. Yeah, that's you, gang.
Oh, host.
That's better?
Yeah, it's not there no more.
Yeah, okay. Just had to make a minor tweak. What's up, Mars? How you living?
I'm all right. Hello.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
You ready to talk about the Pistons today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Mars, if a man is Michael Magic Johnson, who is a sword?
Scottie Pippen.
Yeah. Scottie Pippen. Yeah. I can get with that. Scottie Pippen. And that's the top 10 player of all time. So.
Hey.
Fact. Hey, Mars, I got a new top 10 I've been trying to drop for a while, but
I think we need to hear the top 10.
It ain't ready yet, man. It ain't ready yet.
Oh, man.
You got a new top 10 that's not ready?
Like it's under construction?
I'm struggling with a couple of parts, It's just being on PC for as long as I've been on PC now. You know what I'm saying? Debating with two good fellas every day has really made me have a different view on my top 10.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some drastic changes I had to make.
Hey, Global said air attack.
He packed Kareem up. That's what he's saying. Nice. I'm proud of you.
Replaced him with Wilt. Good. Nice.
He replaced Kareem with like Hakeem or something. Now Hakeem's the new GOAT.
It's all because of y'all. I would have never been able to change my point of view. If it wasn't for this,
You were enlightened.
Can we get one sneak peek? I just have one question.
I've definitely elevated my list.
Is a certain individual that wears 33 still in there?
Yeah, Ron, stop fucking playing.
Right, okay.
So the list is cooked. Never mind. The list is cooked.
So what you saying, Mars? I can't have Larry Bird in my top 10?
No, if you want to have a list that isn't cooked. Larry Bird, Kareem, pack them up. Magic Johnson, pack them up.
What?
You gotta pack them all up, man.
Wait, hold on. I gotta remember. Is Larry Bird's in my top 10, isn't he? Hold on. Let me go to it. He is. Okay, yeah, he is. He's 9. Okay.
Barely. You're close to enlightenment.
Yo, speaking of top 10 lists, I didn't expect us to get here, but we're here. Pirate, we've never, ever heard your top 10 list.
He did it on Open Gym, but he can bring
was it yeah, you actually heard like 3 hours of it on Open Gym.
Pirate's top 10 is definitely unique based on the way he does it. So it's not something like most people don't rank the way he ranks. So it definitely is something crazy.
I gotta hear this.
It's a very complicated formula that even if I explain over the next 10 minutes, most people will just say it's inconsistent.
Pirate, do you have Scottie Pippen in your top 10? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Say what now?
I said yes or no. Do you have Scottie Pippen in your top 10?
I do not have Scottie Pippen in my top 10.
Okay,
no.
so
I don't.
let me ask because I heard your formula is kind of different. So I'm gonna just say my top 10, right? Whatever player that I name that isn't in your top 10, just say him. You don't even got to put it like in an order or anything. Just tell me who's not in your top 10 that's in mine.
Okay.
Fair? All right, bet. And this is in order: Bron, Jordan, Kareem, Duncan, Kobe, Curry, Magic, Shaq, Bird, Hakeem.
Shaq and Hakeem are not in my top 10.
He has Wilt and Kareem. Well,
I have Kareem in mine.
Yeah, no, before Pirate,
I have
Pirate
Kareem.
gets into it, Pirate ranks in groups of 5 and makes starting lineups. So he'll have 1 through 5 as point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. One of each in whatever order, best to worst of that 5. And then 6 through 10 will be another 5 of point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. So he only has 2 centers in his top 10, 2 power forwards.
Okay, so the best 2 of each position.
Yeah.
So Shaq I have at 11.
Hakeem miss out based on the fact that they're 2 bigs, and he has Wilt and Kareem.
Pirate. Pirate, when I did my 24-hour stream, I did that a little while ago. I wish you could check it out, but YouTube hated on me. But anyway, I did when I did my 24-hour stream, Pirate. That's how I ranked. I ranked my top 25 like that, just in groups of 5. So it was actually pretty interesting to do it that way.
Oh, did you?
I like that.
That's what ends up having Pirate.
At
16.
Yeah, I mean it's a long explanation. I won't even dive into it. It's basically based off relative value instead of absolute value. You know, I'm not gonna put 4 or 5 centers in my top 10. Just like if I were looking at the NFL, I'm not gonna say like, oh, the top 10 players are all quarterbacks. You know, same kind of logic. So I mean, basically, my top 10: MJ, Wilt, Bron, Magic, Duncan, Kareem, Bird, Kobe, Curry, and number 10 is I guess some Kevin Garnett. I have Garnett at 10.
I'm gonna say if you're doing top 2 of each position, so I wonder who's the power.
Did he say Larry Bird? Or did I miss that?
He did not.
Bird is 7. No, I did. No, I said Bird 7. Kareem, Bird.
Okay.
Yeah. Kareem 6, Bird 7, Kobe 8, Curry 9, Garnett 10.
So within that top 10, you rank them based on how good they are.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
1 through 5 is in order.
Within each group of 5. Within each group of 5.
Yeah. Okay.
So
it'll be like Matt. So
like I have Wilt. I have Wilt over Magic.
Okay.
I have Wilt over Magic.
I'm not mad at it.
I think it's actually absolutely phenomenal and probably the most analytical list that's ever been created in the history of man. But that's just my opinion.
That's so humble of you, Pirate. You're so humble.
But I mean, a lot of the familiar names probably just Wilt at 2 and Garnett at 10.
Yeah, Garnett at 10 is what will lose most people.
Yeah, most people will probably lose it at Garnett at 10, but I like Kevin Garnett.
I mean, Kareem at 6 probably loses some people, and so does LeBron at 3. So.
Hey, but
it's my list, man. It's my list. It's how I view basketball.
Right, you also lost Buddy OG with Kobe at 8 too, because Kobe ate 2. So
I didn't lose him as much as you lost everybody with Kobe at 11.
Yeah, but pretty close though.
What a difference 3 spots will make.
Can you believe it? Like I wouldn't get nearly as much. I wouldn't get nearly as much if I just moved them up 1 spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much the range for Kobe. I find it surprising that, I mean, I hear some people have Kobe as high as like number 2 or number 3. But you know, it's all, we all view the game differently, and like when people have Kobe ranked higher than me, I understand why.
We know what's wild in there, Domo. You ain't gotta make that face. We know what's wild in there. We know what you got going on in there. We know it's wild. It's okay. I've been there before, so I know what time it is.
Ain't no sound better than that.
She's been on one all morning, man. I don't know.
No, shut up, Buddy OG. Ho.
Hey,
Buddy OG is such a hoe. He's such an emotional dude, yo.
Okay.
Hey, he's so funny.
Oh, you gonna crawl up here? Okay.
Yeah, she want to be involved in the show.
All right.
She want to be involved in the show. Hey, little bit.
There we go. You gonna say hey? Say hey. You not gonna wave?
No, damn.
Hey, little bit.
She ain't working with us.
Hey, little. Hey, little bit. What up with you?
Yo, Pirate though, I would like to hear your case for Kevin Garnett.
My case for Kevin Garnett, I mean, frankly, I believe he's the second best power forward that's played. In my personal opinion, he's got, and again, everyone views it differently. For what I'm looking for out of a power forward, Kevin Garnett pretty much checks off all the boxes. I mean, he's tall, he's got length, crazy athleticism, complete floor game, which I really look for, especially out of the small forward, power forward. I appreciate versatility. Ability to protect the rim and defend the perimeter, passing, rebounding. I mean, not the cleanest scorer, but definitely efficient enough. And to go along with just his absolute complete floor game, I mean, he can basically do anything on the floor. I think he had, aside from the MVP, he had multiple MVP quality years. And again, it is a very complicated list. The way that I qualified each player, we really don't have enough time to dive into the whole thing. But as far as his peak, his prime, his complete career, the way that he was able to do what I look for out of a power forward, I think he's number 2. That said, Giannis, I am a big Giannis fan, and I think current players, they don't have a complete career yet, but I think that Giannis has a chance to really climb my personal list, and when his career is done, I might have Giannis as the number 1 power forward.
Do you value being an all-pro at all, Pirate? Do you value being an all-pro at all?
No. So in my list, I did not factor. I don't factor accolades. I don't factor the accolades they were given. I do factor my own personal accolade. So if I think that you were the MVP of the league, then I factor that. And also, I don't factor team success either. So like Jordan, I don't
played at that level. That's fair. Okay, I can get with that.
Yeah.
If you played, even if you didn't win it and you played it, but you played at that level, I can get with that.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
Yeah. And also, I don't factor team success. So Jordan having 6 rings is not a factor as to why I consider him number 1. I'm a firm believer that it's a team sport that requires 15 guys. I'm a firm believer that it's a fact that the best player in the league can play on the worst team in the league. That's possible. So if I accept that as a truth, I personally, I do not factor team success. I believe teams win championships and win games. Players play and perform at the level that they play at.
But
so I see what you do.
Can I just ask, does a player's performance impacting winning matter at all though? Like if you like a guy like Bradley Beal give you 30, but if he's only giving you 30 on the I got agendas to push. If a guy like Bradley Beal can give you 30 on the Wizards, but he goes to the Suns this year, and I can understand there's more players to play with, but he's giving you like an inefficient 19. Are we gonna be looking at Bradley Beal like that 30 was just because you were the only guy there?
Maybe, yes. I mean, and also it's impossible to truly say. Like, I wish we could just take every player and just run them on every team in the league. You know, like it would have been awesome to see Michael Jordan play a full season for every team on the league in 1988 and see exactly in every situation. But we can't do that. So all I can do is see what I see and try to use my own assessment to judge, are you playing winning basketball? Are you not? I also really believe basketball is a make or miss league more than anything else. I don't think people give enough credit to basketball having the smallest margin of victory in all of the sports. I mean, in basketball, if you're a basketball team and you're scoring 5% more than your opponents, you're like a championship contender. You know, it's not like that in other sports like baseball and football. Basketball's, the ball goes in, it doesn't go in. It's hard. So I really think we put too much credit on exactly who won each individual game or even each individual playoff series. Like it's there is a crapshoot element to the game of basketball in my view, in my opinion. So
it sounds like you rate guys strictly off kind of alluding to how Mars is with the eye test and you just being a basketball player. That's what it sounds like.
Mostly, yeah, no, but also, I mean, that has to translate to actual production. You know, like I don't just look at a guy and think, oh man, I think that guy's awesome, but he's scoring 8 points on 40% shooting.
So if it has to translate to production, you know, Malone went 28 and 11 for 11 straight years. That's almost 30 and 10 for over a decade.
I have Malone as the third best power forward. I do.
No,
so it's not like
way too much.
that guy. Yeah. No. So I mean, I definitely value Malone very highly. Just head up against Garnett. Garnett gives me a little bit more of what I personally believe is a little bit more conducive to really executing the role of power forward. Just a little bit better. I mean, just a little bit, because I have Garnett at 2 and Malone at 3. I mean, Malone was a fantastic.
In your estimation, what exactly is the 4-man's job?
I believe I'm looking for a 4-man. I want him to be extremely physical. I prize athleticism. I really prize rebounding. I saw a little bit of open gym the other day where someone was saying that rebounding is the last thing that we look at when we're comparing players. And I mean, I'm a big rebounding fan. So power forward, center, I'm definitely looking for rebounds. Power forward, a little bit more versatility. Again, I want him to have a pretty complete floor game. Athleticism, the ability to protect the paint and also swing out to the perimeter. I prize highly. So, and you can going with all that, you can see how Kevin Garnett kind of fits into that.
I definitely see how he fits into that. One second, Mars. So when you're talking about the 4-man, does you did mention versatility and expansion of the game? Does that matter at all? Because when I say expansion of the game, I mean, you know, the 4-man's the dirty work guy. Yeah. But
I agree.
The game got expanded where now the offense can run through the 4-man and be effective. Right? So the offense can run. So do you value that at all?
Again, it's complicated. I feel as if I value everything there possibly is to value. It's all on a spectrum. So I have my own personal archetype for a power forward is kind of along the lines of a Garnett. That being said, if someone comes along and breaks that mold and is extremely productive in doing it, like I'm still gonna accept that it's outside of my framework and be like, oh, well, this guy isn't quite my personal vision of the perfect power forward, but well, just like Tim Duncan, I have Tim Duncan ranked a little bit ahead of Garnett, even though I consider Garnett a little bit more of my mold of what I would specifically be looking for. But Duncan was so good at the post game and the defense, and he had a bit more longevity. I rank him a little bit high. I really have him like 1A, 1B. Like, I don't think there's much separating them at all.
Do you think Garnett's a better player than Malone? Let's just take the power forward position off the table. You think he's a better player than Malone?
I do prize Garnett's just extreme versatility. A little bit more. So like when I'm adding up all the pieces, Malone's obviously a better scorer, which is highly valued. I do prize. I also really like long defenderish, quick twitch type guys.
Athletic dudes, I can give it that. Sure.
Athletic dudes, guys. Guys who can jump, guys who aren't carrying a lot of weight. I always find the critique of the 70s players by kids like, oh, 70s guys are so skinny. Like, this is basketball, man. Like Kevin Garnett can't even bench 100 pounds. You know, we're not talking about football. Like I tend to lean more towards skinny guys. Your cousin Shaq. I personally, I prefer Orlando Shaq to LA Shaq. You know, I mean, LA Shaq was dominant, but I kind of think if Shaq had stayed lean his entire career, I would have loved to see like a 27, 28-year-old skinny Shaq and see what that would do.
That's fair.
So quick twitch guys, I like that, especially at the 3 and the 4. Athleticism, I think those are the two positions where I'm really kind of focused heavily on athleticism.
Oh.
Yeah. You already answered my question while you were talking to Chill. I wanted to know how close you had it between KG and Duncan. So
honestly, Mars, the top 5 power forwards I think are probably the closest grouped of all the positions. So Duncan, KG, Malone, Dirk, and Chuck fifth. Yeah, I don't have a ton separating those five guys. I mean,
the reason why I asked you about the player and the position is because I feel like you could be a better player than somebody, but that person could play the position better than you. I think Curry is a better player than John Stockton. I think Stockton's a better point guard than him, right? I think John Havlicek is a better player than Scottie Pippen. I think Scottie Pippen plays the position better, right? So in that estimate, that's why I asked that question, because you can a lot of people get caught up in the logic that because you're a better player than somebody, you also did everything better, even at that particular position. And I don't want to exclude positions because positions matter. Like a lot of people just talk about a guy as a basketball player. Well, if you're a basketball player, then you do everything basketball players do. Basketball players rebound. Basketball players defend. All basketball players score. Well, if you rebound at a high level, if you defend at a high level, then we should be talking about Russell Westbrook more, right? But that's something completely different because Russell Westbrook doesn't do all of those things at an efficient level. So when I'm thinking about a basketball player, right, when I'm thinking about an overall basketball player, I'm thinking about what he contributed to his unit, especially if they won. And I don't have winning high on my list. I got winning third in terms of my criteria, right? I think about, is your game timeless? Did you dominate? And did that translate? Like, you can't just be kicking ass and it's leading to nothing, right? That's why I have as many bigs on my list as I have for that specific reason right there. So that's why I was trying to figure out. That's why I was trying to understand what your logic was about with Garnett. But you explained it. I get it.
Yeah. No, and I understand that perspective too. And I've also said, like, I can make 100 different lists. I mean, you can view it differently and make 100 lists. This is just kind of like my main list that I believe represents how I view the game most closely.
And we all have different views of it. As long as you can defend your logic, then there's really no choice that any other person has except to accept it, right? Like, for example, Domo talks a lot about the chat that we have. Yo, the chat that we have, I look at the chat that we have sometimes. I don't pay attention that much to the chat, Domo, but what it reminds me of being a player, and it's hecklers in the crowd. That's what they are. They're essentially hecklers in the crowd. And somebody might get in my ear and, you know, glance over at them, and I might hit a shot and look over at them, something like that. But for the most part, I don't really pay much attention to it, simply off the strength that a lot of you dudes, there's a reason why I'm here and you not. For that reason right there.
That's a fact, man. Definitely a lot of hecklers.
You're saying they hate you because they ain't you?
I mean, I don't have to say it. You just said it.
Yo, Pirate, I got one more question. I want to ask everybody up here. So with your top 10, it's obviously divided into two groups. And it's easy to say that the first group would beat the second group. But I just want to know, matched up in a game, how do we think that looks and how do they stack up against each other?
Well, Ron, let me make one quick clarification, because when I was on Open Gym, people mistook it that I was making the top 5 lineups, and that's not it. Like, if I were making a top 5 lineup, I would probably either trade out LeBron for Bird or Magic for Steph, because I don't believe that my top 5 is the best lineup. I just think they're the best at that position.
But
I would probably want Birds.
5?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
The first 5 better than the second 5?
I mean, the first 5 has Wilt, so any team that's got Wilt
would probably lose.
Can you let me know?
Mars, you gonna respect Wilt, Mars. I'm telling you.
I respect Wilt. I have him like 12 10. That's respect. I have him like
that is not respect.
You definitely go respect.
If ChillTown can say he respects Kobe and has him 11, how can I have Wilt at 12 and say I respect him?
Yeah, it's
right.
I have him 12 all the time. There's only 11. He might be 11. No, he's 12. He's 12. I'm sorry. That's respectful. There's only 11 people over him in the history of the game of basketball.
I would love to have a Kareem versus Will conversation at some point down the line. I think that's a fascinating conversation.
Kareem's starting to lose me. Kareem.
I think Will clears Kareem. I think Will clears Kareem, but that's just me.
Mars, don't go to the dark side, Mars.
Look, he already there. I'm not already over there.
No,
it's too late.
I'm not with Dub where like, oh, Kareem's not top 10 or I don't rank these guys. I rank them, but I don't know if I have him at number 3. I don't know. I might have to. He might be in this. He might, because the top 2 is pretty clear cut with MJ and LeBron. He's not with those guys. He's right now. He's number 3 and he's in like the tier by himself. I think he's too good to be in the 4 through
So it's
7
like,
tier.
James.
Yeah,
and
he's in
Jordan
like the
Jabbar.
purgatory. He's in purgatory right now.
And
He's not good enough to be in the top 2 tier, but he's also too good to be in the tier with Duncan, Kobe, Shaq, Hakeem, etc.
So it's James,
He might
Jordan,
get
Jabbar.
moved down into that tier. I don't know. I might.
Mars. Mars, let me ask you real quick, because I know that you're not big on accolades or team winning success either. So is the reason why you have Kareem over Wilt mainly longevity based? If you took the longevity out of it, would you have Kareem over Wilt?
If I did peak for peak, I might still have Kareem, maybe, but they are a lot closer. Like Wilt's peak,
I find that interesting.
Insane.
I do find that interesting.
But I don't know. Like that's the thing. Kareem, I feel like I might because there's no NBA going on. Kareem might get a major deep dive from me soon, where I might just sit down and watch as many Kareem games as possible and not make a new opinion, but maybe either confirm my current opinion or maybe make a new opinion, whatever happens. Because I think Wilt's peak is very good, 65 to 68, very, very good. But then I also think Kareem from 74 to 76 or 73 to 76, also very good. Because I think that's when he was still all-time great defensively, best scorer in the league, elite playoff scoring. Obviously not the passer that Wilt Chamberlain was. Still an excellent playmaker. I don't know. Wilt's obviously a better rebounder. Kareem's rebounding disappoints me.
Yeah. Hey, Mars, let me just ask you a couple things real quick. Who's the better rebounder?
Pirate. Whoa.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy, Chill.
His rebounding disappoints you, Mars? Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Why does his rebounding disappoint you?
Less so at his peak. Overall, it disappoints me because I think a lot of his rebounds came from the fact he was just bigger than everyone. He didn't really box out well consistently. Often a
big tax, Mark. He got a
no. I'm not giving him a big tax. No, because he's still he's still one of the best rebounders. He was one of the best rebounders in the league at the time. When I'm comparing him to all-time great rebounders, he doesn't live up because I don't think his motor was as high as those guys. I don't think he boxed out consistently. I think it's well documented he didn't box out consistently. On the offensive glass, he wasn't as good as those guys either. A lot of his rebounds came from the fact that he was just a lot bigger than everyone. He could just go get the ball, and that's credit to him. You're big, you get rebounds. That's life. It's the same way you're small, you probably have a better handle. That's just how it goes. So he gets rebounds off that merit, but when Wilt Chamberlain also has that size, but also has a higher motor, also boxes out consistently, also gets rebounds in more that are more contested consistently, he's going to be a better rebounder. I don't think Kareem is and I think that's why his rebounding numbers fell off a cliff later on in his career because his motor just started falling off. Wilt Chamberlain didn't have that problem. That's why I say he disappoints me. At his peak, he was still a very good rebounder, but overall,
Chill, can we acknowledge that in Kareem's very best season of rebounding, Wilt Chamberlain led the league in rebounding as an old man that year.
His last season rebounding was better than Jabbar's best season rebound.
Wilt Chamberlain was an old man rebounding better than prime Kareem.
And that's the Mars again with the rebounding tax. With the big guy tax, because again, I feel like Chamberlain was the best rebounder in NBA history. Now, I don't know how much better he could have possibly been considering what he already was. He averaged 20 rebounds. He averaged almost 20 rebounds in the 72 finals. He was 35 years old at that point. And he averaged almost 20 boards a game in the finals that year. So, and he was still doing it at a high level late in his career. If there was one thing that Chamberlain could always do, he could always rebound. Now on the flip side to that, Jabbar, on the other hand, because the Lakers started playing as fast as they played, I think that was largely due to why his rebounding total went down, because they played as fast as they played. He didn't really run as much. So the game was a lot faster. When they got in the half court, Jabbar, being the offensive rebounder that he was always good. But when they started playing faster, that wasn't really there for him. He was the defensive rebounder to get the game sped up for them. So I think that would attribute to his rebounding total going down, not just because he stopped trying. I think that their style of play changed.
I do think it changed, but I don't think it changed to the degree that would constitute how badly it fell off. Also, his defensive rebounding numbers aren't great, especially in the Lakers either. Maybe that's because they wanted Magic to grab and go, or they wanted James Worthy to get out in transition, so he was grabbing and going. Sure, right. But from my eye test, and I think I spoke about this on Open Gym as well, it's very well documented. A lot of people had issues with Kareem's motor. It was at the time, you can find articles talking about how Kareem's effort on defense and rebounding is why he's not as good as guys like Will. That was something they were talking about. Maybe it's because they didn't like him because he was Muslim. I don't know. But that's something that was very well documented at the time. Me going back and watching, he was still a very good rebounder for the better part of a decade. But as time went on at that size, like there's no reason he should be averaging 6-7 rebounds a game. That shouldn't be happening. Even if the game is faster, which would mean more possessions, more opportunities for rebounds. Even if he's the defensive rebounder, he's averaging like 5 defensive rebounds at 7-2. Right. That shouldn't be happening with how much he's playing. You don't get
more chances to rebound, Mars, if you're not getting up the court because they move. Just because the game's going faster. If the game's
faster, there's more possessions, which means there would be more missed shots.
That's not true. That's not how it works because that's El basketball. Just because you have
that's
more,
just common sense.
No, it's not. Because just because you have more possessions, just listen. I'm explaining. Just as ChillTown said, as he got older, he wasn't the same gazelle he once was. So he's not getting up the court on every shot attempt. If James Worthy and Michael Cooper are running the lanes, getting layups and dunks, and Akeem's at half court, if Kareem's at half court, then that doesn't mean he gets more opportunities to rebound.
I'm talking about defensive rebounds, which means he would be back on defense. Unless you're saying Kareem's at half court when the Lakers are playing defense. But
I'm saying the game is fast.
I'm not even talking about his offensive rebounding though. I'm talking about defense.
It could be.
There's still more possessions defensively if you're having more offensive possessions.
It could be offensive or defensive.
I'm talking about defense.
I understand you're talking about defense. Okay. I'm saying it goes both ways. If the game is sped up, that means more fast breaks, which means if you're an older version of yourself, you might not be getting back on defense on fast breaks because you're not just because it's fast breaks. Your team isn't the only one getting fast breaks now. The game's faster. Everybody's running more.
Which goes back to
Kareem wasn't just in the middle of the court like half the time. Like he was back on defense.
I'm not saying that either. I'm just
all I'm saying is obviously no exaggeration. He was back on defense consistently. He just wasn't getting rebounds. Like.
We all agree that Wilt was a better rebounder.
Yeah, Wilt was a better rebounder. Yes, Bill Russell's a better rebounder. Moses Malone's a better rebounder. Dennis Rodman's a better rebounder. Ben Wallace is a better rebounder. Kevin Garnett's a better rebounder. Tim Duncan's a better rebounder. There's a whole lot of people a better rebounder.
He's like, let's get in too long now.
There's a lot of people who are better rebounders than Kareem.
I'm not going to go that far, but I will attest that. I mean, Jabbar did have better rebounders on his team. I mean, he was playing with Magic, one of the best rebounding guards in NBA history. He was playing with James Worthy, another great rebounder for that position. So his duties as a rebounder, don't get me wrong, one of your main jobs as a 5-man is to protect the rim and rebound. And he did do that. But I didn't have to do that as much playing with these dudes because Magic stuck his nose in there. He sped the game up a lot more, right? Which you would think, and to your point, Mars, about Jabbar's motor, I don't think we give big guys enough credit that it doesn't look like they're trying, but when in reality, they're trying really hard. So because Jabbar didn't look like he was trying a lot of times, when Magic would get a rebound, he was trying to get up the floor. It's just that the game had sped up as much as it did. And again, Mars, I'm not 25 anymore, right? I'm not 25, and I don't run as fast as I used to, even though the possessions have gone up. I don't run as fast as I used to. I'm not able to do the stuff that I used to be able to do. That's why guys like Magic, that's why guys like James Worthy, that's why guys like AC Green make my job as a rebounder a lot less difficult. I don't have to solely do that.
Yeah, and that's fine. And I'm not holding it against him that his numbers went down when the Lakers sped up, because I understand it's not just his rebound. His points went down because when they were playing faster, he wasn't getting as many touches, but best believe in the half court, that ball was going to Kareem. And I can fully understand that. And I don't be like, well, he went from 28 to 22. Clearly he got worse. No, I'm not doing that. Mm-hmm. But even when he was like, let me look at his numbers. I don't want to get it wrong. He had a stretch when he came into the league for that's 6-7 years. He was averaging like 16 rebounds a game.
For 8 straight years, Mars, he went 30 and 15. He went for 8 straight years. He went 30 and 15.
Even then, to me,
Wilt was going 45 and 25.
Wilt Chamberlain's a better rebounder. ChillTown agrees. Everyone would agree. Even though Wilt Chamberlain played in a much faster era as well, so his rebounding numbers kind of inflated too. Still a much better rebounder. I'm not arguing against that. But even when Kareem was averaging 15, 16, 14 rebounds, as I can see here looking at, he still wasn't as good of a rebounder as the all-time greats to me. And that's why rebounds is a lot more than just pure rebounds per game. It's why like Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain and even Elgin Baylor, they average crazy rebounds. Their game was even faster than the 70s and 80s. And like I said, more possessions, more missed shots, which would mean more rebounding opportunities. That's just how that works. Same thing with the 70s and 80s, which is why in the 2000s, when I think there was some of the best rebounders ever, overall rebounding numbers were down because there's less possessions, the game's slower, which is why I still think guys like Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett are better rebounders than guys like Kareem, even if their rebounding numbers are lower based off that fact. But
Ben Wallace.
I look at Kareem, Ben Wallace is another one I said. When I look at his rebounding numbers, I still see the same question marks around his motor. And yes, big guys, maybe they don't look like they're trying as hard because, I mean, maybe the game does come easier to them, which it does. I mean, it's a big man's game, 1,000%. But I've seen too many occasions where he gets beat by a little guard to an offensive rebound because he doesn't box out. He doesn't put his body on someone. That's fundamentals of rebounding. Sometimes he's just too lazy to go and get the ball. Sometimes if he's on the right block and the ball falls to the left block, he will wait for someone else to go get it because he just doesn't want to go get it. And that doesn't need to be a knock on him. Maybe it is a knock on him. But when we're talking about all-time great rebounders, they want to go get the ball off the rim. He just didn't have that same desire. Maybe that's an intangible. Maybe I'm wrong for speaking about intangibles. But when I'm comparing him to the all-time great rebounders, he doesn't stack up. Now, is he a great rebounder? Yes. Is he a better rebounder than basically everyone in today's game? Sure. Is he a better rebounder than 99% of NBA history? Yes. But when we're comparing him to the other people who are better than 99% of NBA history, once again, I just don't think he stacks up to those guys, and that's what I'm saying when I say it disappoints.
I will give you the idea on the motor. I will talk about that. And Moses Malone is a prime example of a guy who had a high motor as a rebounder, 100% on the offensive glass, particularly, right? Mm-hmm. Even on the defensive glass, he was good, but on the offensive glass, particularly, he had a ridiculous motor. But the idea that Jabbar is being taxed for being less of a rebounder than he should have been, because I think about what he did. Like me and you talked about this in the past, Mars. I care about what you did, when you did it, who you did it against. And when Jabbar is in the playoffs at 38 years old and is playing 30 plus minutes and pulling down 12 rebounds in the NBA Finals at 38 years old, that doesn't stack up to Chamberlain, sure, but it's much better than everybody else at that age. Much better when he's 34 years old and he's averaging 11, 12 rebounds a game. Now, the motor, other guys' motor might be a little bit higher. That other guys' motor might be a little bit higher. But for Jabbar to be taxed for not boxing out or being lazy, I think that's a little bit of a stretch, simply because when I seen Jabbar in the biggest situations, he was doing that. He was blocking out. I mean, I did watch him average 17 rebounds against Chamberlain, who was an old man, as anybody would say. He averaged 17 rebounds against Chamberlain in 72 in the West Finals. 17 boards. Now, don't get me wrong, Jabbar was a lot younger, but he still did that, and that motor was there. And it was there moving forward in his career when he dealt with bigger guys like Moses Malone, who was a little bit more physical. He did struggle with Moses Malone, 100%. He did. But yes, he did. He did struggle. I will not argue that, Mars. Yes, he did struggle with Moses Malone, 100%. However, when we're talking about Jabbar, who's the third leading rebounder in NBA history, it's only two guys in NBA history rebound the ball who had more rebounds than Jabbar. I'm having a difficult time with taxing him with his motor, because when I think about a guy like Jabbar, I think about a guy who cleaned glass for a lot of years.
He did. I just don't think he did it as well as a Kevin Garnett or a Tim Duncan or a Ben Wallace or a Wilt Chamberlain or a Bill Russell or like Nate Thurman. Like, he's still I couldn't name 15 rebounders better than Kareem. He would be top 15 without a doubt. He might be top 10. I'd have to make a list. I don't know. He's not better than Dennis Rodman. But I might have to make a list. He might fall in the top 10. But when I say it disappoints me, I don't hold it again. He's not lower because he should have been a better rebounder. Because I just rank you as based on what you are. Whether or not you could have been better is not my business. But I do think when we talk about Kareem as a rebounder, I do think he's just not in the S+ tier. I think he's in the S tier, all-time great. He's just not on that level of the transcendent rebounders like Bill Russell. But also he was averaging 8.7 rebounds as a 34-year-old. I looked up. But
in 84,
yeah. And also, and to the biggest moments thing, I get that argument. But for me, consistency. Anyone can turn up defensively in a big game, nationally televised game, or you know what? I want to make it look like I play defense. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to lock in on this game. But then when I play the Charlotte Hornets, I don't care. I ain't about to play defense. Like, to me, it's about consistency. What are you doing over the course of a season when no one's watching and when everyone's watching? I want the same thing from you all the time. We praise guys like Jason Tatum because they say, I want to show up in the games against Charlotte and I want to show up in the games against Golden State. For me, there's kids who want to watch me against Charlotte who only get that one opportunity to see me. If you're not going to put in effort because, it's against Charlotte, it don't matter. But then you're in the playoffs and you start putting in effort. That doesn't make you better to me. That like the better player is the one who can do it night in, night out consistently.
Right.
I've seen James Harden put together some defensive possessions. I don't call him a good defender because I've seen him when he locks in, he's good. Because consistently, that's not what he's giving me. So that's why with Kareem, I get it. He can have playoff series where he rebounds well, even in late age. He has maybe individual games against great players where he rebounds well. But then when you play against the Dallas Mavericks, who only win 30 games and you're getting 6 rebounds because you just can't be bothered, that matters to me. I care about overall. So I think maybe that's where maybe a bit of a disconnect. I think that happens with a lot of people where they get given like a mislabel because in the nationally televised games or the playoff games, they elevate. It's like, that's not what you're doing consistently. So you're not, you're not as good as it suggests.
And I could get with that logic, the idea that you play when you feel like playing. I mean, that's where the disconnect could be. However, when I think about a guy in Jabbar who, nobody else could say that they averaged 15 rebounds for almost a decade. He did that, which means that he did it when it mattered the most. He didn't just do it when he felt like doing it. I clean glass every night because that was my job. And I didn't just clean glass when I felt like it. There were nights when I didn't feel like it and I still did it. And I did it for a long period of time. And my motive was never questioned during that time. And every team that I was on, don't get me wrong, Miles, we've all had players who've had stinkers, so to speak, in the playoffs where we could tax every last one of these guys. But with that also being said, I was the difference. And one of the main reasons why I was the difference, because of my ability to rebound, because of my ability to be a paint presence. And again, to your point, when you're talking about the great rebounders of all time, Moses Malone, Jabbar, Chamberlain, Dennis Rodman, those guys, their ability to rebound changed the game. Jabbar's not only did it change the game, it changed the game to the point where we're winning. And we're winning at a high level.
I agree. I just don't know. I have him somewhere in the top 15 as a rebounder, which I also don't think.
Absolutely.
All right, fellas. It's around that time for me to go ahead and dive into the comments from last show. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback. Also, I want to shed light on those who can't make the live show. Y'all comments matter too. The chat matters. Live chat and the chat that comes on after the show. So I'm gonna go ahead and dive into these. Y'all let me know how you feeling about this. All right. I don't have them to put up on the screen, but I will be reading them. Solely Junior Gaming 6715 said Ticket is my favorite panelist, but I don't blame Mars for raising his voice at Ticket over the world champion debate. Showing love from UK. Keep it up. Ticket taking over the UK.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God, the UK. Ugh.
I told y'all dudes, y'all want to hate Ticket all y'all want. I want to strangle Ticket sometime, but I want y'all to be clear. Ticket is necessary. Let's be clear about
that. Brian Bilski 8756 said Ticket is legit a comedian. If he could gather his thoughts into a tight 5, he would absolutely destroy. Grind Indictment 2547 said nobody asked me my favorite panelists, but here they are. Number 1, Mars. He's the most informative and sees the game from a similar perspective. 2, Pirate. Love his takes and knowledge. I feel him and Mars are closest to my takes. 3, Fluent. Not always correct, but I like his perspective. Plus, he's a Kobe stan. 4, Low. Informative and logical, but he's stubborn even when he's wrong sometimes. 5, Ticket. But he's hit or miss. And the definition of chance. Each take seems like a roulette. 6, Ron, my favorite host. I like that he's the perfect fit. I think he's the perfect fit and a great mediator. Also, cool to hear his L takes. ... LOL.
Nice no takes. Nice.
Hey, appreciate you, bro. 7, Ox. He is funnier than Mace, and I like his loyalty to his team and his favorite players. Chill, informative, and I don't always agree. He's a LeBrick fan and a Kobe hater, so I rated him lower. LOL. Chill, hella cool.
I was going to say when you read mine, I was going to say go back and read what Fluent said, what he said about Fluent, and then you'll know why I'm at the bottom of the list.
9, Shaq, dope ball player, but not all around as much but not around as much anymore. And he did admit he was a casual. Shout out the boss. 10, Dub. Oh shit.
There was nothing positive about Dub. There was nothing positive about Dub.
I thought "oh shit" was in the comment. Dub. Oh shit.
He said 10, Dub. Worst takes for how knowledgeable he thinks he is. Kind of annoying because he's so sensitive. Not funny. D rides Dale. Steals Mars and Lowe's takes, especially when he isn't as versed on a player, and the only immature guy on the show. 11, I don't rate the other guys like Dale, Cross-Eyed, a.k.a. non-gifted, Shiloh, a.k.a. Sean Porter, etc., because they're not on the show that often. And in Damo's case, kind of new to the show. But I knew him from Keep It a Buck, so I like him. All right, moving on. The Black Book Club 1 said, quote unquote, somebody can be better, but not be better. It's definitely something I'm doing in my next basketball debate.
When Ron said that.
But
took us back to the
right?
Ron, if A is better than B, and B is better than C.
That makes perfect sense to me, Ron.
Somebody can be better.
Are you better but not bad? Like
you got to expand on that. You can't just say.
All right, so it's a lot of guys.
She better looking than her, but she ain't better looking than her. Okay, wait a minute.
That's a little different. And Chill, I'm glad you made that girl analogy because we're gonna get to a comment about that. But nah, it's like just because like some dudes can get buckets better, some dudes can pass better, some dudes look better, but you're not better. James Harden,
if you do all of those things bad, I best believe that you're a bad player.
I'm say, I don't know about that one.
Bad, I don't know what to do.
James
Harden, I pass better, I look better. Like I'm better than you. Like clearly,
James Harden, for instance. He scores better than a lot of guys, passes better than a lot of guys, his game's better than a lot of guys, but it's a lot of guys I would take over James Harden.
Yeah,
why?
So they're better. So those guys are better.
No.
Being better, and I would take them over someone. I agree. There's a lot of people who I think is better, but I wouldn't. I think Klay Thompson isn't better than a lot of people, but I'm taking him on my team over a lot of people because he fits.
Right.
But
when I say better, I mean more talented. When I say better, I mean more talented. Let's clarify that. You could be more talented, but not better.
Okay, so who's James Harden more talented than, but not better than?
You could say he's more talented than Kawhi.
Jaylen Brown.
And you?
Jaylen Brown.
Yes.
Talent is more than just. He's a better offensive player than Kawhi.
But I would rather Kawhi than James Harden.
Offensively.
Yeah.
Overall, as a player.
Overall, as a player,
I would say offensively skilled.
I wouldn't even say James Harden is more talented than Kawhi. Offensively, he's for sure more talented than Kawhi.
Yeah, I would say offensively skilled.
He's also just better than Kawhi.
I feel like talent.
You see what I'm saying?
That's the
You're
thing.
saying he's better because he's more talented, but
no, I'm saying he's better because he's better.
He's not though.
Yeah, I disagree. That's where we just disagree about who's better. But it still comes down to who's better.
So this is what I'm. And this you always got to go to things like this. So if I take James off that crew and put Kawhi on that crew, what do the Rockets do? If I take Kawhi off the crew and put James on that crew, what do the Raptors do? It's just certain things like that. Even I know it's not the best fit, but even if you take James Harden and put him on those Spurs teams, do they beat LeBron and them?
Your kid's trying to play trucks with you, bro.
That's what it sounds like.
You got more important things to do with Lightning McQueen's right there. Like, what we doing?
I'll man right here too.
There you go. We're gonna handle some business.
Man. Being a better offensive player or more talented, but you're not better. That's interesting.
I would like I said, I would say Jaylen Brown is the person who James Harden has more talent than. He has a better skill set than, but yet Jaylen Brown's better.
So we're talking about two different things. Conflation is the bane of human discourse.
Jaylen Brown isn't better than James Harden.
Oh, well, we just disagree.
That's where it comes. That's fine. We can disagree about who's better and who's not better. But when we're saying, "Oh, this player's better, but he's not better," like no, like we just disagree about who is actually better. Like if you think Kawhi is better than James Harden offensively, that's fine. But then don't say James Harden's better offensively, but he's not better. Like no, just say you think Kawhi is better. That's what you're saying.
No,
because to me, James Harden is better offensively.
It's about.
You think Kawhi's better, like
I'm talking about skill set and talent. Like yeah, he can technically dribble better. He's technically a better shooter. You know, stuff like that. Like his skill set's just higher. But on the court in the game, the other guy's just a better player.
But if you're better at everything,
no, that's not how it works, Mars. That's not how it works.
Is there anyone who's better at everything than someone else skill-wise and isn't better than them?
But there's a lot of people.
I mean, that are better at everything and yet not better.
The example being
that happens every day in basketball. Like
I think
it's where somebody's star player might just have all the, you know, when you go through the combine and when you go through the skills challenges and when you go through workouts, this player obviously makes when they shoot 50 shots 50 shots 10 from all 5 spots, this person every time is gonna make 39 and this person every time is gonna make 30. But the guy who makes 30 when it's time to play basketball, he's actually the better player.
Well, yeah,
it happens every day.
Gym and shooting in a game isn't the same thing.
I'm talking about skill set, Marsh.
Yeah, but your skill set is from the
game.
Okay.
We just got to agree to disagree. I
mean, I don't judge someone's skill set from dribbling through cones. Me personally.
No, I understand, Marsh. I'm just saying I'm talking about skill set. Somebody that's a better ball handler, better technically with accuracy and whatever you talk, whatever stats or whatever category.
So you're saying about. More skill doesn't mean better. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I've been saying this whole time.
Yeah, but more skill has never meant better.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so we're saying the same thing.
So say there's a difference between saying better doesn't mean you're better and more skilled doesn't mean you're better. That's two
different. Yeah. And that's basically
I agree. More skilled. I agree. More skilled doesn't make you better.
What Ron meant
doesn't mean you're better.
But just a moment ago, Ron said, "Well, when I said better, I mean more skilled." He just said
talented.
So that's
talented, more skilled. He's whatever. You know
talent and skill is not the same thing either.
So if I'm more skilled,
we're arguing semantics, but it comes from people misusing the definitions of words. But we are.
When
we're saying more skilled doesn't mean better, I agree, and then we can end the conversation there. We're all on the same page. More skilled doesn't mean better. Everyone agrees.
That's what he meant. That's what he meant.
More talented and more skilled. Either way it goes.
I agree with both. More skilled and more talented doesn't mean you're better. But more skilled and more talented are also two different things. But I agree, both of them don't make you better. I agree. We're all on the same page, I believe.
No, we're not. I don't agree. We're not all on the same page. I don't agree.
No, Domo, we had it.
You're in the minority,
we were done.
Democracy rules, man. Democracy rules.
I want Domo on the jury because he's the one that's going to make sure that this dude don't go to the penitentiary, even though we all think he's guilty.
No, he's going to lead to a hung jury is what he's going to
be him. He's the reason why we still eating this cold.
He's trying to stop me from going home. Nah, look at him.
It's because of him. Which, by the way, I got a jury duty notice a couple of months ago. I never go to jury duty. Never. I tell him I hate white duties. That's how I get off it.
Oh yeah, every time I'm racist. I am a racist.
That's what I tell him. I hate white people.
Domo, in our community, we have to start answering those jury duty summons. We need to start getting on juries so that we can make sure we represent for our peers and people like us. Because if we refuse to do jury duty.
I'm about to say, people like us. I don't know.
People like us. So you saying like us as criminals, or
everybody on trial isn't a criminal. That's what the jury's there for. So for you to say what you just said, Morris, means that you're not you're not innocent to proven guilty, and that's not that's not the
jury duty don't exist over here. I ain't got this problem, so.
I
let due process do this thing. I just don't partake. We don't have to deal with this.
Yeah, but on a serious note,
Mars has barristers with big white
on a serious note, though, Pirate,
wigs.
Like, when you have men that look like yourself, Domo, that look like me, we go on trial, and the jury looks nothing like us because we're not answering our jury summons.
Oh no, I feel you, Ox. I feel you. And if you know what, and if beforehand there was a way for me to see who's on trial, I might be with you. But the fact that I don't know what's going on, so when I pull up, it's Sharon and Karen, and I'm supposed to be sitting up here and care about Sharon and Karen's debriefing or whatever we got going on. I don't. I'm racist.
I'm telling you, when you get there, Domo, when you get to the courthouse and you see who's on trial, and it's not, it's not one of our brothers, you know what I'm saying? Then you don't want to represent them.
But it's too late. But once you get there, see, that's the issue though. Once you get there,
hey.
you don't find out what's going on until after they debrief you and ask you the questions and all this, that, and the third. So they'll sit there and ask you, is there anything you don't like or and I'd be like, yeah, man, I hate white people.
Well, as someone who's had
two brothers.
As someone who's had many relatives go to jail, I am offended.
It's worth the risk, man. Y'all answer those jury summons, you know what I'm saying? Represent for the people that aren't represented for, because you're supposed to be able to be judged by a group of your peers.
I got you, gang. Next time they send it to me, I'm gonna forward it to you. Got you.
For sure. I'll pull up.
All right, so diving back into these comments, I got a couple more I want to read. Moneyman4740 said Chill turns every analogy into something about a chick.
Yo, man, this is like when you go into the ice cream shop and there's this chick behind the counter.
My uncle was the one who. That's where I get it from. I get it from him. He would put that kind of stuff together all the time, and it just made sense. So my uncle was an example person. I got it from him, and that's how I put two and two together.
Hey, I don't know about
analogies rule.
Dub Slaps 8461 said Domo is necessary for the panel.
Thank you. I came a long way.
Glaze, Jesus. I never seen no comment about Mars is necessary for the panel. I've been here for how long? Whatever, man.
We came so far from Get Fake Low out of here, man. This is great. I'm glad y'all like me.
Yeah, I would never.
It was a couple tomatoes on the stage when you first showed up, Domo. It was a couple tomatoes on the stage. It
was a rough for 2-week stretch, gang. That was a rough 10-day contract.
Tomatoes on the stage when you showed up. It's like, I don't know if you're gonna
give you your flowers, Domo. I ain't know if you was gonna make it through the hazing period. Mm-hmm. You really handled it like a G, but hey, some of us didn't make it, but you here.
Mm-hmm. And a fact.
Duke Baylox said, I have always said Ben Simmons was a role player. There has been countless players that have gotten snubbed year after year because Ben Simmons was taking up space. Ben Simmons is a good role player, and that's it.
Nothing.
They're all role players.
I mean,
and everybody's role players. Yeah.
Ronaldo 9047 said Ticket is effortlessly funny. What was you about to say, Pirate?
Ben's gonna bounce back, man. 5, 12, and 12. The perfect line next year.
5 points, 12, and 12.
All right, last but not least, we got a pretty long comment. And it's from Adri 7500. Adri said, quote unquote, Ticket derails the show. He argues too much and only pushes narratives. End quote. And then said the hating on Ticket thing is getting old here. I used to think Ticket was exaggerating about how the chat targets him, but I'm starting to see it. Y'all would give Ticket more smoke for pushing quote unquote a narrative or being loud when you have guys like Lowe saying Larry Bird is not top 10 and blatantly lying about how he didn't play a high level basketball for an extended period of time. You have Domo literally admitting to being a hater. Jalen Carter worshiping another basketball player with no shame. ChillTown saying Bernard King would average 35 in this era. And Mars literally trolling on a daily basis to an annoying degree. Where's all the smoke for the other panelists? Remove Ticket from this show and y'all would beg for him back. He brings the views, energy that's needed for this show. Y'all pick and choose who y'all criticize. It's just true.
I've had people calling for me to get suspended.
I ain't gonna lie. I was with him until he went into Glizzy override mode, bro. That was crazy. He started going Glizzy overdrive, and I was like, all right, gang, you lost me. But I was with him for a second. He had me in the first half. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm on record saying Ticket is necessary. I'm on record saying that. So
I would have never found Player's Choice without Ticket. I was a Ticket fan before I'd ever even heard of Player's Choice, so I enjoy Ticket a lot.
All right, y'all. We got a couple super chats on here that I'm gonna go ahead and get to. Cody Green says, "Shout out to Dub, Domo, and Low and Ticket last night for creating dope content. It was fire. Definitely worth a watch on Dub's World. If you haven't watched it yet, go check it out."
I watched a little bit. It's that guy who said he would cook low and then proceeded to not cook low.
That nigga's a clown. That nigga's a clown.
If you guys haven't got the opportunity to join the secret group chat that we got, where it has all of us in it, Low, everybody that comes on the panel, and a couple of our other selected fans, you guys have the opportunity to right here. You can get a one week free trial. You want to talk with the panel and discuss everything basketball 24/7, just click this link and we all in there. It was some fireworks last night, right, Domo?
Nigga's a clown.
If you're gonna come into the chat, please bring perspective that's legit, because I have zero patience for goofies. Zero. And I'm telling you right now, with the whole old head logic, I'm telling you right now, I have zero patience when it comes to goofies. When you're inviting people to your manhood and every other word out of your mouth is cuss words and you ain't coming in with any legit logic, beat it. I'm not interested in that, and I'm going to call for you to get bounced. But if you're coming in here and you're talking legit basketball, then we can have a conversation. But when we have goofies like we had last night, I got no patience for that. None whatsoever.
Drink more water. Go ahead, Pirate.
Why are kids so disrespectful these days with the old heads? And when I was young, we respected our elders and we would help little old ladies cross the street, and we would give our grandparents candy and sit on their knee and listen about the old times. And kids these days.
Well, no, I can tell you what happened.
Offer them the big room at the Airbnb.
There we go.
Crazy.
The room was vacant. I don't know what you want me to do. If the room's vacant, you think I'm just meant to not take it? Like,
nah, with the
Scumbag.
whole I have noticed there's a generation of youths that's came up with the whole respect your elders culture has just died. And I'm not gonna hold you. I kind of spearheaded that one. Listen, I respect my elders. Like my grandmother, my grandfather, I respect them. But yo, I ain't gonna lie. I've had too many situations in my life where old folks just start tripping, they start tweaking, they start doing too much. Yeah, we can't respect every elder, bro. Everybody doesn't deserve respect. Respect is earned, not given. I'm sorry. I don't care how old
Damo,
you is.
100% Damo. 100% Damo. But with that being said, we all can't be lumped into that neither. That's the difference with that. That's the difference. We can't. And a lot of people that I deal with on the internet, they look at me like all old heads. Like I think like all old heads, and they talk to me like that, and I got no patience for that. I don't.
Yeah, that's
so. Domo. So do you give an old nigga? I mean, do you give an old head the benefit of the doubt?
No, I treat old folks just like regular people. Like honestly.
Oh, you can't do that. No, you can't do that because the dementia and the bad backs. Like you gotta.
That's tough. Hey, listen, yeah. I give everybody the same level of respect when I first meet them, and you either rise and fall from there, like some Red Dead Redemption shit. Like we either going up or going down. You choose how this is gonna go. But I give everybody the same respect I want back. My grandmother taught me better than that. Like,
so Domo, so when I first met you, Domo, it was the first day walking into class, and I got an A. It was just up to me to keep that A. That A could have went to an F immediately.
It could have went wherever. I gave everybody the same level of respect, and
that A could have went to an F immediately.
Soon, very quick.
I live by respect is given until you lose it. Then that's your business. I'll treat everyone with respect, but then when it's not reciprocated, I have no reason to respect you.
Don't get me wrong.
65 or 2.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Mars has some really good.
So a 2-year-old lose that respect from you?
Hey, if a 2-year-old kicks me,
hey boy, come here.
Welcome to the 2-year-old. I don't know what to do.
I got something you need to say about the queen.
Mars a scumbag. What did I tell you?
I don't discriminate. I ain't gonna lie. If you're 2 years old, you should know better than to be going around hitting people. You hit me, and I hit you back. Hey, that's life, man. I don't know what to do.
Mars is a scumbag. And like I said, Domo has insight.
Say L Queen. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Well, you do know the queen.
Everyone pulling out kids today. Jesus.
Damo has really good insight. But with that being said, there's times when Damo says stuff, and I want to climb through the screen and put him in a sleeper hole. Same thing with Mars. I'm like, Mars, if you were standing in front of me right now, I swear to God, I'd choke you like that. I swear. There's plenty of times it's been like that. But that doesn't mean that I don't respect Mars. But you'll say some stuff sometimes like, if this dude was standing in front of me right now, I swear to God, I'd choke the life out of him.
Yo, and we be trying to do live panel episodes. We be wanting to do it, but I'm trying to protect y'all next from Chill and another character in here too.
I'm an angel. I don't know what we're convinced.
You're a scumbag, Mars. No, you're not. Okay, cut it out. You're not an angel. You're a scumbag, Mars. Would you just accept it and wear it? Just like
relax.
Just like Domo has accepted his hater. Domo has accepted it. Domo ain't dancing around and like, well, I'm kind of. No, Domo is a hater. He good with it. Mars, accept your scumbag. Embrace him.
I'm a good person. I give to charity. I give to charity. I help the homeless.
Mars, you're British.
I donate. I'm definitely not lying right now. Like I'm just a good person.
You just said you kick a 2-year-old. You just said that.
No, what I said was if a 2-year-old kicks me, they should have been taught better. And what happens after that is no longer my business.
Which could be what, Mars?
That's up to your imagination. I've never been in that situation. If
that's a fact.
My knowledge is 2-year-olds have been taught how to treat people with respect. You don't spit, you don't scratch, you don't kick. At 2 years old, you know not to do that to strangers. You kick me, and I see you all of a sudden you look like a football. That ain't my business. I don't know what to do.
That's look like a football.
Yeah,
that ain't my business.
Yeah.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. And again, I'm on Mars' side. There's been times to send my daughter to the park. She's won. I had a Daniel Cormier, a couple parents and kids, man. Little kid pushed my daughter. Hey, come here.
Whoa, that's different, Domo. We talking about your kid, Domo. We talking about my baby. So don't put your hands on my baby. That's different.
I see somebody's child push my daughter.
Better, right? Even at 1
where your dad at?
Don't
right
push
there.
Kids.
Hey, gang. Your daughter. I used the Daniel Cormier line before. Your child touched my child again, I'm gonna touch you, and we gonna go from there. Your child pushed my child, I'm gonna push you.
See, I know I couldn't beat the parent in the fight, but I trust my chances against the kids.
See, that's something a scumbag would say, Domo. That's what I'm talking about right here. That is something that a scumbag would say. Right
I just don't want to lose.
That's something that a scumbag.
He's a scumbag.
He's got a record to keep intact.
So we clear, Domo.
Exactly. I'm trying to stay undefeated. I'm Floyd Mayweather.
I probably can't whoop your pop's ass, but I'll definitely whoop your ass. Definitely.
Mars, you're giving us prime scumbag material right now.
Scumbag.
Prime 100%. Scumbag material.
Mars, just embrace it, brother. Embrace your scumbag. Please, you'd be much happier. You would be.
I'm quite content knowing I'm a good person, but
so is Hitler.
Hitler was so straight. He thought he was. Hitler was so straight.
I'm sorry. No offense to Hitler.
Oh my! Without context, that's crazy.
I'm not about to Kanye me. You're not about to put me Kanye. No.
Pirate's words are his words and his words only. They don't represent any of our individual platforms or players' choice.
We're so PC now. We can't make a friendly Hitler joke. All right, fine.
The channel's called PC.
What? Too soon? Too soon?
Too soon. A bit too soon. Maybe give it another like 20,000 years and we'll be good. Jesus Christ! I do not stand with Pirate.
Give it at least 400 years, at the very least.
I hope you don't get cancelled.
We will not get canceled. We're not getting canceled. No,
we're not.
Pirate might get the finger. Like we need to talk to you, sir. But the rest of us, the rest of us, I think we still
we don't need more context. Just it was bad. We move on. While Ron's not here, I'm gonna read a super chat. Drink more water. Ask Pirate a question. If Giannis or AD pass Kevin Garnett, are they now top 10?
Wait, what was it?
Yes.
If Giannis or AD were to pass Kevin Garnett, would they now be top 10? That's what he asked.
Yes. They would be. Yes. So I'm saying I think Giannis has a chance to crack my own personal top 10.
If you're in the top, if you are able to pass a guy in the top 10 on that position list, you could be better than him all time. Because again, we go back to the original logic, Pirate, of I could be a better player than you, but you was a better point guard than me. So if Giannis would have passed KG on the power forward list, does that mean he passes him all time on the players list?
On my list, yeah, I mean it seems pretty simple. If I have KG at X position, and then if Giannis passes KG in my assessment, then yes.
Mello had a top 10 list he wanted to share with us. He said, "Is my top 10 list valid? Bron 1, Jordan 2, Kobe 3, Hakeem 4, Shaq 5, Duncan 6, Bird 7, KD 8, Steph 9, Garnett 10.
Yeah, sure. It's your list, man. I mean, just looking at your list, I would say you're probably, it looks like, you're valuing championships,
he doesn't rock with the
playoff
70s.
performances. Yeah, right. More modern players. So, I don't see a lot of old names. But yeah, it's your list, man. All this is just.
No Kareem gave it away as someone who doesn't rock with the 70s. And that's
yeah.
Fine. So, you lost me up with Bron at 1 there, but I think it's valid, I guess. Del Montre Smith said, "Big fan of the show, keep up the work. Over or under 35 wins for my Pistons, and what do you see them doing in the next 3 to 5 years?" And chill, Cade is him. So I guess
I want to know what Cade is.
We're about to talk about that, right? So
yeah, I want to talk about.
Maybe I should have saved that for when Ron was back.
Yeah.
So you guys want to act like I didn't just read that?
I didn't
yeah, let's just
there we go. Okay, we got another super chat here from Drink More Water. A question for Pirate, but I'll ask everyone. What's your position on field goal percentage versus true shooting percentage?
I mean, I think true shooting is a more accurate representation. So if I had to pick one, I would pick true shooting to just look at if you're looking at one thing on a player.
Eye test is everything. I don't know the accumulation of stats required to produce true shooting. I get it. I just don't know it personally, so I don't use it. But when people use it, I respect it. I don't.
Domo, it's your field goal percentage, the 3-point percentage,
and
plus
free
throw. Yeah, plus your free
all together averaged out, right?
But free throws are weighted differently, which kind of skews the stat. It has like a little coefficient to it because they try and account for and ones and like technical free throws by giving it a little coefficient to like balance out over the course of a season. I've seen somewhere that when they do like predicted true shooting versus actual true shooting, they're pretty similar in terms of like how they actually equate out, and that's how they use it to like validate the stat as not being like broken. That's what they do. But I do think when you are extremely high volume free throw shooter, you do kind of skew the stat a little bit. So like any stat, I don't think it's fully perfect, but I do think it's the best example of efficiency. But I like EFG and then just use free throw percentage as well.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Typically, I'll look at EFG and then I'll just kind of like look at the free throw in a little bit of a separate category.
Before you read the next super chat, can I ask a question? Because we're talking about advanced stats, and this is something that, let's keep it a buck, drove people crazy. Would you guys consider per 36? Would you consider that a hypothetical stat? Is that a hypothetical stat?
What actually is per 36 exactly?
It takes your production. It takes your production per minute, and then just puts it into if you play 36 minutes.
So if somebody plays, if a guy was like Cam Reddish averages 18 minutes a game for a season, and you look at his per 36 numbers, it would be double your numbers.
Yeah. And so if he averages 10 points in 18, 20, he averages 20 per 36. That's what it is.
I find it most useful in talking about.
Okay,
it's not. Yeah, I mean, technically it's hypothetical. I think it's most applicable usually when you're talking about like bench players and kind of predicting and seeing what they may do a little later on in their career. Usually, I don't think it's the most effective thing when you're talking about like star players and guys who are starters, because I feel like once you reach where you're a definite starter, you're starting for your team, I feel like you're generally playing the minutes that you can play, So like, I don't think it's fair just to say, oh, this guy, he was only playing 33 minutes, but what would he do if he was playing 48 minutes? Well, he can't play 48 minutes.
But the hypothetical...
I think 36 is worse for like lower minute players because that's what increases the numbers more. If you're only playing 18 minutes, now we're doubling your numbers, and that doesn't take into account you're now playing against better lineups, you're playing more against stars.
That's what I was about to add.
Like, so I think if you play like
it's imperfect.
Minutes, if you do like 30, if you play like 33 minutes and then you do per 36, I think that's less skewed than someone who plays 15 minutes and you're doing per 36.
Because you're playing.
Because I've seen Thanasis Antetokounmpo's per 36. superstar.
It's imperfect, and it's generally used to diminish somebody. Usually when people bring up per 36, it's they're trying to make somebody look bad in an argument.
Yeah,
that's the point that you just made up. The point that Mars just brought up. That's what I was trying to make sense of, because you got a guy who I average 17 minutes a game. On the one hand, I'm thinking, well, if he averaged 17 minutes a game and he's 8 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, well, why wouldn't that, if he played 36 minutes, why wouldn't that double? Well, I'm not taking into account, number one, how those averages got to that. So those 18 minutes, he might have a bunch of games where he doesn't play at all. He might have a bunch of games where he's playing 12 minutes. He might have some games where he's playing 15 minutes. And then he might have a game where he played 30 minutes and didn't do anything close to that. So when I'm thinking about a guy playing that many minutes, I needed to understand exactly how. Because on the one hand, you should be able to double this production, because if you're playing these many minutes, you're playing on this team, but you're playing against this team. So it was kind of the advanced stat. A lot of that stuff gets skewed with me. I'm a numbers guy to a certain extent, but advanced stats, kind of like the true shooting that you brought up, Mars. I'm just not a fan of true shooting, because it could be skewed. A guy could go 8-26 and he could go 2 for 9 from the long ball line, but go 15 for 15 from the stripe. And then it looks like he's really efficient. I'm like, wait a minute. No, he wasn't. He took a lot of bad shots. Not only did he take a lot of bad shots, he missed a lot of shots. But it looks like he was really efficient because he went 12 for 12 from the stripe, or 14 for 14 from the stripe.
I get the point you're making, but just with those numbers that you just threw out, that would still be inefficient. And I know the point you're making, that free throws can save a bad shooting night, and it happens all the time with James Harden, all the time. Like, he has some of the worst shooting nights ever, like field goal percentage wise, but he makes like 17 free throws. Yep. And his true shooting is like okay. Like, surprisingly, the one I point to, and I don't know if you guys know this, we all remember how badly Kevin Durant played against Boston in 2022, right?
Yes.
His true shooting against Boston was higher than Giannis's true shooting against Boston.
What I'm talking about. I think in that game 4, the game 4 that they lost, when they got, I think he went like, and that's 9
because Giannis couldn't make free throws. Right. Literally the only reason. I
think he went like 9 for 27 from the floor that day. But he went something like 8 for 8 from the stripe, something like that, and it just evened out.
Yeah, that's when I go to a lot, because Cade was getting to the line. He shot like 90%. Giannis shot like, I want to say like 50% from the line and like 45% from the fields, and then it turns out, Cade's true shooting is higher. That's why I get with it, like, it can be skewed, which is why I don't like using true shooting for like smaller sample size. Like, I'm not about to use true shooting for 4 games or 7 games. Over the course of a season, I think it balances out, but in those small sample sizes, I think you can get weird statistics, and like everything's all stats.
Would it be better just to use context if it's in a smaller sample size? Would it, in terms of shooting?
All
if you're going to use it, just okay, cool.
All the time. I hate people who use stats without context, even if I think the point they're making is true. But if you just thought, this guy's better scoring, more points per game, like, you're losing me. I think every time you use a stat, you need the context behind it. So I try to be as contextual as possible when it comes to having discussions about stats, unless it's something that doesn't require context, like a scoring title, where the only thing that matters is pure points per game. That's all that matters. Right. So then you don't really need much context. But all the other times, I'll try and use context as possible.
But I gotta put in the context when Chris Webber goes 20 and 13 in Game 7 in the NBA Finals. I mean, in the Western Conference Finals. I gotta explain. I mean, that looked good, the 20 and 13. But I gotta put in the context what actually happened.
Not all 20 and 13 is the same.
No, it's not.
That's why I tend to look at the effective field goal percentage a bit more to judge the floor shooting.
All right, fellas, let's shift gears right quick. Let's get into also appreciate you, Mars, Dub host. Let's get into this FIBA World Cup. Obviously, you guys know the USA played late last night or early in the morning. Yeah, it was early in the morning for all of us. I don't know who got a chance to see it, but they beat up on Jordan. They beat them 110-62. Let me see.
They won by 48.
Yeah, they whooped their ass.
I mean, we better.
How much did Rondae Hollis Jefferson have?
He was
Rondae. He had 20.
20 of their 68. 20 of their 68.
I'm on the. Is he from Jordan?
Someone's got to get 20.
I think he's American, but obviously would never make the American team, so he probably has like family who are Jordanian.
That's what I'm talking about. So he got some lineage.
Yeah, I'd
some
assume
Jordanians.
So.
I don't know when the last time he was in the league. I don't know.
20. I think he had like a short stint in like 21, but the last time I vividly remember him, I think was about 19. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were saying he had a stint with the Nets. I don't remember the year, but he averaged 14 for the Nets.
I remember the last team I remember him being on was the Raptors when they were like the bubble year. That's the last time I remember.
What you call it? He played 11 games for the Blazers in the 21 season. And that was it.
3 years ago.
Yeah, that doesn't count. But I remember was he on the Raptors the year before that in 2020?
Yeah, that was the bubble year.
That's the last time I remember him being in the league.
Mm-hmm. People are saying he deserves to be back in the NBA. I ain't gonna lie, he's hooping, but I ain't gonna hold you. I don't think anybody deserves. I don't think anybody deserves to be in the NBA. I think you earn that right. Honestly, I think you earn it. And if you play yourself out the NBA, you play yourself out the NBA. You got to work your way back. Hooping for Jordan and beating up on the Philippines ain't gonna make me say, yeah, they bring him back in the league. I can't get behind that.
Yeah,
See, what he's done this summer has been impressive to me. These 3 games we've watched. Go ahead, Morris. Go ahead.
My thing with people who put up numbers, like whether it be overseas or playing for their national teams, and then you be like, well, why are they not in the NBA? You gotta remember, Rondae Hollis-Jefferson ain't about to go to an NBA team and have the role that he has on this Jordan national team.
No, that's not gonna happen.
He couldn't score in the NBA. That was not his role. He was a defensive player, and they were asking him to shoot, and he couldn't, and that's why he couldn't stay in the league. He's not about to then get the ball mid-post looking like Kobe. I'm seeing everything on Twitter. Apparently, he's the Kobe reincarnate. That's not going to happen in the NBA. That's not what he's going to be back to being a role player. And if he can't do that in the NBA, then he's not going to get an NBA job. That's just how life is. He can be a great player overseas where he's the best player on the team and he can look like a scorer. But if he's not asked to do that at an NBA level, he's not going to have an NBA job. And that's just how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, I get you on that, Morris. The biggest thing, too, is if, like, for a guy like Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, if you can't knock down that open shot, then it's going to be tough for you. But, I mean, the reason why I'm saying I'm impressed is because I know Rondae. I've hung out with Rondae a couple times, all type of stuff. I've watched him play in person. I've watched him play, I've just watched him just kind of grow. And he wasn't like that. Like, what he's doing now, he didn't really have that in his game. He was more of like a scrappy type of player, hustle type of guy. Like by all means, he had game. He was athletic and stuff, but he wasn't doing shit like this. So I just
reminded me of a non-Shumpert. So I'm surprised to be seeing this level.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I didn't know he had this in him.
Yeah,
I will say if he's able, if he does get another opportunity and he's able to do even 50% of what we're seeing him do in the national game, which obviously he's not going to command the kind of response from an offense to just make him be that guy. But even if you can, like, I'm looking at his shooting numbers, awful shooter. If you could just raise that, like his career high in 3-point shooting is 29%. If you could just come in and be a 34% 3-point shooter on open looks, you're in the NBA again. Because defensively, there was no issues with him. His motor, that's what kept him in the league for so long on his rookie deal than the year after. But that offense, he's showing he has some type of game now. If you can do it, cool. I don't know if hooping with Jordan earned him that right, but hell, I'll take him over Monty Bates right now.
How old is he? How old is Rondae?
Rondae.
Somebody in the chat said 28.
28. Yeah, he's 28 now.
Okay. Prime years.
Prime.
Yeah, but so Team USA for them, Anthony Edwards had a hell of a game. He had 22 and 8. Triple J had 12.6 rebounds. Paulo had another good game, 8 points. Bobby Portis had 13. Jalen Brunson scored 10. Those were all the double-digit scores. And so moving on.
What did Halliburton do? We need to know what Halliburton did.
Oh, he took it easy on the Jordanians.
What did he do?
He had 6 points and 6 assists. He led the team in assists.
Yeah, that's nice.
How many minutes? Led the team in assists. Hey, they made a lineup adjustment last night, and we haven't got a chance to talk about this yet. So Brandon Ingram has not been playing good at all. Last night he ended up coming off the bench, and they started Josh Hart. And in light of them starting Josh Hart, in 17 minutes, Josh Hart led the team in rebounds. Y'all want to guess how many rebounds he had?
12.
17 minutes? 12
I
rebounds.
was going to say 12.
I saw someone say in the chat, so I didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything.
I saw someone say in the chat. I didn't want to.
If I said I knew that. I just said 12. I'll be lying.
I saw someone say in the chat. I didn't want to spoil the game, so I let you guys.
Yeah. But
I just said 12.
12 rebounds from Josh Hart.
Josh Hart is one of the best rebounders in the league, and
I think he's the best rebounding guard, Mars. If we're talking about rebounding guards, he might be the best rebounding guard in the game. I watched him pull out 15. When he was with the Trailblazers, he came down here and I watched him pull down 15 rebounds. That was off the bench, by the way.
I consider him a wing, but yeah, of non bigs, he might be the best. Non power forward and center, he's probably the best rebounder in the league.
Well, look at it this way, though, Mars. The way I look at it is, if Kareem gets a big tax for rebounds, then Josh Hart needs a boost. I would damn near say he's the best rebounder in the NBA.
If you do pound for pound rebounding, I agree. I think you got Russell Westbrook and Josh Hart. That's it.
Who would you say, Josh or Russ?
Well, right now or at their best?
Well, of course, right now Josh Hart is better.
Am I doing Russ from
the best.
3 years ago?
Let's say Russ in 2017 and Josh Hart at his best. Who do you think is a better rebound?
Josh Hart.
I think he is too when I think about it. And don't get me wrong, I think Russ was a fantastic rebounder, but I think a lot of that stuff, I think it was to get Russ extra rebounds. Don't get me wrong. I think Russ earned a lot of those rebounds. 100% he did. But I think Josh does the other dirty work. So Josh, in addition to him being a pretty good defender, one of his main attributes is how physical he is. And that helps with him being able to rebound. He's one of the better hustler rebounders. He's one of the hustle rebounders in the game. He chases down a lot of rebounds, right? He's not just one of those guys that sticks his nose in there and he goes and gets the basketball. He's really good at blocking out too. So he's able to get rebounds over bigger guys. A lot of people don't talk about how important it is to block out. And Josh Hart is one of the better rebounding guards in the game, specifically because of that. He knows how to block out. So if I had to say between Russ and Josh Hart, when they were at their best, I mean, the situation that Russ was in, I think it was more conducive to him being successful at that. I feel like Josh Hart, that's him regardless.
And to the person who said we find a way to disrespect Russ every day, we just said he's the second best for non-bigs, second best rebounder in the NBA. That's pretty respectful. Second best? It's pretty respectful. And for me, Josh Hart is the offensive rebounding that he brings. The boxing out, the hustle. He's been doing this for a while. It's not a new thing. He's been doing it since he was in New Orleans. I was always impressed by his rebounding. I just think I don't want to say he has a better nose for the ball because Russ can go and get a ball from off the rim before anyone else. It's not just Stephen Adams boxing out. There's plenty of times where he's getting up over bigs and rebounding. That's why he's elite. But for me, Josh Hart on the offensive side of the ball, his rebounding there, giving his team extra possessions, I think that's probably what slightly edges him. But for me, they're two of the, I want to say all-time greats because I'm probably forget Sean Marion's, those type of non-bigs, but they're up there for non-bigs when it comes to rebounding.
Detlef Schrempf.
He's at 6'10". He's at 6'10".
Nah, Pirate just pushing this agenda.
He's 6'10". He a big man. I mean, I did say
pushing the truth.
But nah, he's 6'10". He's a big.
All right. So with the FIBAs, it's moved on to the second round. So it's a lot of teams that's been eliminated, and half of the teams move forward. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna read you guys some of these groups, and then let you guys know which teams are in which groups, and we'll definitely keep a close eye when they tip the ball back off tomorrow and the following days. But Serbia is in a group with Italy, the Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. So obviously, Dominican Republic, you got Cat. Serbia, you know who they got, and so that's a group to watch out for. You got Group K has Slovenia, Germany, and Australia. This should be very interesting. Both teams, Slovenia, obviously, they have the boy. They got Luka. And Germany and Australia have a lot of NBA talent on their team. I'm interested to see. I think this is probably my favorite group. I'm interested to see how that pans out, who makes it and who doesn't. You got Group L. They have Canada, Latvia, Spain, and Brazil. So it should be interesting to see Canada and Spain, see what they do. Want to see if Latvia can keep up their high level of play. Pretty sure it's going to be tough without Porzingis. But so far, they've overachieved, so we'll see what they can do. And then last but certainly not least, you got the Group J that the USA team's in. Lithuania's in that group, and Greece is in that group as well. So we'll definitely keep a close eye on these games and these groups going.
What's the last one? My bad, Ron. I missed the first two teams. What's the last group?
It's Group J. It's USA, Lithuania, and Greece.
I think Brandon Ingram is evidence that everybody that can do just one thing, your game doesn't travel. You know, you have to be able to do a multitude of things, because if you can't, then that doesn't necessarily mean that your game is going to travel. Brandon Ingram is really struggling on this USA team because he can't really get his shot off as much as he did. He can't really play in that offense that Steve Kerr has. And because of that, he looks really ordinary. In New Orleans, he plays in a ball-dominant, isolated offense where he could get his shot off, where they go to him a lot. He doesn't play in that kind of offense with the USA team. And because of that, his game looks really average. So he's evidence that just because you're super nice with the basketball, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to translate everywhere, because it's not doing that right now.
Does this change any of you guys' perspective on him? Do you think less of him as a player?
I think this is going to help him. I think this is going to help him for next season.
I judge these guys as NBA players. What they do this is a different game. I judge him as an NBA player. So
in the small sample size, different roles. It's just.
Also, I'm changing my rebounding answer to Russell Westbrook. Just want to put that out there. So in case it gets clipped, use this spot. I'm picking Russell Westbrook as a rebounder.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Did I say Russ? Did I not say Russ? I'm thinking about Russ from the. I'm thinking about Russ from the perspective that, you know, the situation that Russ was in, and Josh coming off the bench, the way he was coming off the bench. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, I don't think there's a wrong answer. I'm picking Russ. So editor, Russell Westbrook is my pick.
I think Josh Hart is the best rebounding guard in the game today.
I think Josh Hart's the best rebounder in the game, pound for pound. But as far as Brandon Ingram, though, Ron, I think this only helps his game. And like how ChillTown said, if he really only has one strong point, this might unlock another part of his game. That's the only way he's going to get on the floor with, Steve Kerr, Eric Spoelstra, Ty Lue anyway. So I really think this might unlock another part of BI's game. This might be that, that step up he needed, just the right amount of adversity.
Yeah.
All right, y'all know what time it is. It's time to get into the Detroit Pistons. But before we do so,
y'all, what you doing?
But before we do so, I'm gonna read a couple super chats. Del Montre Smith said, "Big fan of the show. Keep up the work, fellas. Over under 35 wins for my Pistons. And what do y'all see them? And where do y'all see them in the next 3 to 5 years?" And chill, Cade is him.
That's interesting you bring that up, because we're about to talk about the Pistons in a second. Yes, we are.
That super chat hasn't been read before at all.
We're about to talk about them. Mars, you ain't even have to say that. Zip it up, Mars. Zip it.
Are we actually talking about the Pistons now, or no?
I'm gonna read a couple super chats.
Okay.
Did you read this one?
No.
From Angie Carr, she said, Gil and B. Jennings proposed an idea yesterday based on Noah Lyle's comments. Us versus the world, top 15 USA players versus top 15 world players.
That's not going to make
that still wouldn't be a world champion.
No, that would not still be the world champion. That would be a great
game to watch, but that's still not how a world championship works.
No, that's not the way that works. No.
But I would still watch it. 1,000% I'd watch it.
I would too. Yes, I would. I would 100% watch it.
I think the Team USA team would probably win. Probably. But good game.
Football Breakdown said, "Don't believe people who have MJ as number one and say rings don't matter. LeBron is objectively a better passer, rebounder, longevity, and versatile defender. Explain."
That's for Pirate.
Well, so longevity is not a huge factor in my assessment either. So LeBron playing 20 or 30 years. Because I prefer to judge like what you were at your absolute best, how long you were able to sustain that for like 3-4 years, and then the bulk of your career, 7-8 years. After that, like I don't like giving people a ton of credit for like their 18th, 19th, 20th year.
Right.
And not that, I mean, it matters. I'm not saying like if you personally want to put more weight into that than I do, I can understand. That makes sense. But just when I'm looking at like the absolute best players, yeah, for me personally, longevity is a factor. I factor it. It's just probably not as heavily as a lot of other people do.
So the reason why I asked that, Pirate, because I hear a lot of people who, in the words of Mars, taxing, the longevity tax or the any type of tax.
Yeah.
And I never understood the logic of taxing somebody.
Well, I agree with
doing
that
something
now, Joe.
For being good at their job for long.
I do agree with that.
Mars.
And personally,
it doesn't make sense to me at all. Never.
I think John Stockton is probably the number one guy who's taxed for longevity because people have shifted it so much to where they make it out as if John Stockton's career is so heavily based on his longevity, when I don't feel that's the case at all. I think if you look at John Stockton's best 5 years, 10 years. What's that?
I said I think he'd still have the assist record if you cut off like 5 years of his career or something.
Exactly.
Like that.
Even more than that. He would, after his like 11th, after I think his 11th season in the year, he would still have more assists and steals than Kidd and CP3. But people act as if like the only reason we talk about him is because he played till he was 40. So I'm not taxing you for longevity. I'm just probably not giving him quite as much weight.
Brumman Fifth Flow said, when ranking the best players in the league heading into the season, how important is it to take into consideration a player's projection versus their recent productivity?
Well, I can't take in what it is, but what I can't do, Mars, is I can't take into account what I think you're going to do as opposed to what you are doing. I can't do that. So I got to go off what you're doing right now. Now, what I think you can do, that remains to be seen. Now, I can take into consideration, I think Giannis is going to be the league MVP this season coming up. Well, I'm doing that because over the last 4 years, he's been in the top 2 and the top 3 in the league. So I can do that as opposed to a guy who, he just showed up and he just got nice. And I mean, I don't know what you're going to look like in 5 years. I don't know what you're going to look like in 3 more years from now.
Yeah, the way I do it is I just say these are like, for example, I'll just say these are my top 10 players going into the season. So as the moment the season ended, I will have the same top 10 as I will going into the season. It's the same top 10. And then over the course of the season, it might change if LeBron James regresses or if Shea takes another jump or if Anthony Davis looks better offensively. Whatever happens during the season might change it, but my top 10 throughout the offseason doesn't change. Like, it's going to stay the same from the end of the season to the beginning of the next because I try not to project. So I just do, as of right now, this is my top 10, then it might change over the course of the season.
Yeah, and I've seen way too many sports seasons come and go. Every season is different, man. I mean, like, even, you don't know. We don't know. I don't know exactly what these guys are going to do next year.
David Mujinaya said, one day this offseason, the panel got to make their top 75 list. Y'all want to do this?
75. You wild for that, my man. You super wild.
I got a top 100.
Yeah, and there's a certain someone who didn't make that list.
There is. We don't have time for that, Mars. Don't be stirring the pot, Mars. You little troublemaker.
There might be a chat about it, and we might have to talk about it.
Don't be stirring the pot.
I'm assuming we'll get there one day. MP13 said, you guys need to tell Lamont how to make a list. This man went on a 45-minute narrative tirade about why Kobe isn't top 10 without anything but stat reading with no context. It was hard to listen to.
You stayed for 45 minutes and listened to it.
I don't know him. So.
I will say I don't want to make an assumption about something I haven't seen. I haven't seen what Lamont said. And my slight inkling right now is you heard he didn't have Kobe top 10, so you'd already kind of made your opinion on everything he was about to say and why it was stupid. So I feel like if I watched it myself, maybe there probably was a lot of stats, but Lamont gives context a lot of the time, in my opinion. So I think when you say without context, I think it probably wasn't the context you wanted. He probably said this guy, his stats weren't this good, and then you were like, well, the reason his stats weren't as good because he had Smush Parker and Kwame Brown, but you didn't say that. Like, that's probably what you were looking for because you disagreed with him, and I'm assuming he just didn't give the context you wanted.
Which is usually what the case.
But I haven't watched it, so.
Which is usually what the case is, Mars. When you talk about a player, and because you didn't say what that person thought you should say, you hate him, or what you're talking about is ridiculous. When in reality, I'm just giving my objective opinion on how I see this guy. There isn't anything subjective here. I'm giving my objective opinion on how I see this guy.
And I'm not saying he was right or wrong. I'm just saying, I'm assuming that you probably already had your opinion formed long before you even started giving his explanation.
All right, y'all. Next super chat from Drink More Water. He said the Pistons are a good up-and-coming team.
Right.
I see them winning 30 to 33 games, but is in the play-in hunt until All-Star break. They need to choose who to keep between Wiseman, Bagley, Stewart, and Duren. So with no further ado, let's talk about the Pistons, and then we'll definitely talk about who they need to keep out of those guys and all that good stuff. Before I open the floor, I just want to talk about some of their offseason moves, who they added and who they lost. They added Joe Harris. They obviously added Osor Thompson, and they added Monty Morris as well. They lost Corey Joseph and Hamidou Diallo. That's how you say his first name, Hamidou?
How are they going to function without Corey Joseph?
He's in Golden State now, man.
They got Monty Morris. They'll be all right.
They also added Monty Williams as that coach.
Yep.
They did get Monty. So, yeah, let's talk about the Pistons. You obviously know the first question I'm going to ask. What are you most looking forward to about this team this year? Or are you not looking forward to anything? Pirate, I'm going to start with you.
It's crazy, I guess.
Team of the ages. I don't think it's a question of if they're going to win the championship. It's really just a question of if they go 16-0. They are going to be, in my personal opinion, hot garbage, yo. I guess I'm yeah, no offense to people in Detroit. Detroit's awesome, but I'm probably most looking forward to the fact I think they only have 4 national games, so that's awesome.
Damn, you ain't trying to watch the Pistons.
The hate is crazy.
It's not hate. I'm not high on Detroit. Let's just say that.
You're not high on their young pieces, or you're not high on them for this season?
For this upcoming season, I am not particularly high on Detroit. No.
Okay.
All right, Ox, what are you most looking forward to with the Detroit Pistons?
The liberation of Bojan Bogdanovic. That's what I'm looking forward to. Free my man Bojan. Because I like their young pieces, but they're not ready. He's just going to be wasting his time over there. I'm excited to see Jaden Ivey. If he makes a leap this year, I want to see him playing with Cade, see if that opens up his game. I think they got some good young bigs, so they got a lot to work with. Osor Thompson, they got a lot to work with. So I think they'll be a good team in about 3 seasons. But right as of this season, the only thing I'm looking forward to from Detroit is for them to free my man Bojan.
All right, Domo. Let's hear
it. Here we go. Listen. First things first. Excited to see that boy Cade show that he's really him. Had a hurt year last year, so people forgot about him. One of the 2 most disrespected number 1 picks in recent history. So hopefully he puts his name out there and show people that Detroit ain't nothing to fuck with for real. Bojan being that veteran presence. Jalen Duren, of course, building that chemistry with Cade and being the unstoppable 1-2 punch that they are going to be, and take that step of being one of the better duos we're going to see in the future. I am excited to see Jaden Ivey, to see how he works with Cade and everybody else. But, and this might be a hot take, on top of them needing to figure out what they're going to do with these bigs in terms of who they're going to let go and who they're going to keep, I am of the belief, and yes, I do need to see it. We got to give it time, but I'd rather be 2 years too early than 2 years too late. You got, with getting Osor Thompson and the role he's going to play, which is basically, not going to lie, people are thinking of him as a 3. He's going to be better as a 2. You got to trade Jaden Ivey. You got to. I'm going to say, I'm going to say it. I'm going to be the one to say it.
He's arguably their best player.
No, he's not arguably the best player. No, he's not.
But why is Asar better as a 2 than a 3 in your opinion?
One right now. I mean, he has a little bit of weight right now, but I feel like, again, the difference between him and his brother, at least what it was perceived to be, was his brother was better on ball. His brother was the better offensive player. Things like that. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's the case. I think they have a similar. I know Mar's crazy, right? I think their games end up being a lot more similar than people would expect. If Jalen Duren is there, obviously he's going to have to be the 3, so you're not going to see it. But if it comes a situation where Cade or Jaden goes down and he's going to be put at the 2, because you're going to have to play Boban, and that whole situation is going to happen, whatever. Boban's going to be the 3. You're going to put him at the 2, and you're going to realize, damn, this guy guarding the best guard on any team, it's going to be a problem. Plus him and Cade, I feel like him and Cade being that big ass tall backcourt would just go better for them down the line and for the future. I'm not saying Jaden isn't nice. I'm not saying Jaden isn't good. It's just how they stack this roster, I think, is a detriment to Jaden. Getting Asar after getting Jaden was a detriment to him, and he's going to end up have to go somewhere else to show his talents. It's just too much talent on the team, and somebody has to go.
Asar can't be there. Tayshaun Prince.
I think he's too good.
He's better than a Tayshaun.
Yeah, I think
he has more to his offensive game than.
I think if they keep Jaden Ivey, it's gonna hold him back. So he's gonna be in a situation where he's a lot better than what he's shown to be because there's so many players that need the ball over there. I see him being a better off-ball player than Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey's game to me seems like, and as of now, he's a guy that needs the ball in his hands to be the most effective on offense. I'm not too sure about how his catch and shoot game is, how his off-ball scoring is. I got to see it with Cade. I'm definitely of the belief that I would rather see it first and then make the decision. But if I'm going just based off paper and going my gut feeling, I feel like Asar would be a better combo to play with Cade than Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey's going to go somewhere where he can be the point guard. I don't see him as a 2. I see him as a point guard. Coming into the league, people was giving him the John Morant comparisons. I don't see a situation where you take John Morant and put him as a 2 guard off ball. Do you? Do y'all see a situation like that? So I understand he's not John Morant. He definitely is Ja-like. Watching this game, he's Ja-like. He has some John Morant in him. I think he's better with the ball in his hand.
Ja's going to play off the ball Ja's going to play off the ball in Memphis with Marcus Smart.
Why?
I know you hate that, but
why?
I think that's to the detriment of the team. I'm gonna be honest. I trust John Morant's decision making on the floor, on the courts, on the courts, more than I trust Marcus Smart's decision making on the court.
I understand that. I understand the Twins are perceived as these guys that can't shoot, but I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I gotta see it. I think their shots it'll end up being better.
Nah, Mensah is cooked. I'm not gonna lie to you. Mensah is cooked.
Okay.
I believe it might be okay. Immense cooked. I'm gonna be on the econ shoot.
Well, at least with Asar, we're just talking about Asar here. I think Asar's shot is definitely better than people perceive to be. The overtime criticism is definitely, after watching them play in the summer league, just watching them play guys their age and older, definitely killed all the narratives that I had going in to the draft from the overtime shit. From they're playing a bunch of kids and they're grown. Killed all of it because they look like they belong, and majority of the time they look like the best players on the court any given time. So I don't know about if all those narratives is actually going to stick. I do think the start the season officer is going to come off the bench, but very soon we're going to see, he should be in the starting lineup, and I feel like he's going to take Jaden Ivey's job just because he fits better, and he's a better defender. That's what's going to do it. He's a better defender, and unless they liberate Bogdanovich like Ox wants, unless he gets liberated and they say we don't need that veteran presence to score a bucket in our starting lineup, they're going to end up moving Jaden Ivey and just say, we're going to put Asar here.
Asar probably, to me, he's one of the most intriguing prospects in this draft. I can't wait to see how he looks, and I can't wait to see his development. I think I'm more excited to see like what he morphs into more than anybody in this draft. But keeping it pushing, Ticket, you present?
Yeah, what's going on, man? What's up?
What's up? How you living?
Oh, I'm enjoying the conversation today, man. Brothers having a real good conversation. What's going on?
Yeah, talking about the Pistons, dog. How you feeling about them? What are you most looking forward to with the Detroit Pistons this next year?
Just improvement. I think with Monty Williams being the coach, at least they got. I'm just looking for them to improve. Sort of like what the Orlando Magic did last year. Just improve. Just show me improvement. That's all I want to see from them right now. They take it step by step. Not try to put grand expectations on those guys and on Monty Williams in year one, but expectations of improvement. I need to see that we're moving in the right direction. That's pretty much it. I think they got the pieces to do it. They got some decisions they got to make as far as the bigs are concerned. But I think that Monty Williams is going to have to knock that narrative that he had on him with the big over in Phoenix. He didn't get along too well with DeAndre Ayton, but obviously we can see why that is now. Recent news has come out about Ayton, but yeah, man, I just think that it's going to be improved. I think Monty Williams is a good coach, so they will improve. That team will improve all the way across the board. But it's going to be interesting the decisions he makes on who he plays and who he doesn't play, because they paid Isaiah Stewart. They, traded for the big 7-footer from Golden State. And so who you going to play? You going to play those guys? Or you going to play the other two bigs you got? So that's the biggest question mark about how, that team to me is how he's going to transfer those minutes. The guard play, I want to see how Cade Cunningham plays, if he lives up to this hype that he gets that he hadn't done anything to deserve yet. So we'll see.
Ron, you're muted.
Chill.
Yes, sir.
What are you looking most forward to with the Detroit Pistons going into next year?
The thing I'm looking for the most is Cade Cunningham being better. Two things. One, Cade Cunningham proving why he was worthy of being the top 2 pick. When he came in to the league, he kind of gave me Grant Hill vibes. I saw a guy on the wing who maybe wasn't as athletic, but I felt like he was athletic enough to be an elite defender, one of the better playmakers in the game, could score the basketball at a high rate. And I felt like he was on his way to doing that before he got hurt. And Ticket alluded to it. The idea that Monty Williams got to get that stigma off of him with what happened between him and Ayton, I think that's going to make James Wiseman better. I think he's going to put James Wiseman in a position where James Wiseman could be more productive in this offense. Now, I know that James Wiseman may play the traditional big way, and that's not the game today, but I think that he's going to put him in a position where he can be more successful, where he can have him play on the block, be more of a rim runner, right, and be more of a glass cleaner. But also put him in that offense where he can be just as productive, as opposed to what was going on in Golden State, where they had a lot of dribble handoffs and things like that. He's not as good playing like that. And I think that Monty Williams he's gonna get rid of that stigma about being able to handle a young big like James Wiseman. I'm a big fan of this backcourt between Cunningham and Ivy. I do think that they improve and they get better. I got to start watching, and Mars had alluded to this earlier, last season, where Mars made me start watching the Detroit Pistons, and they were a tough watch, 100%. But I got to start watching them more, and I got to start paying more attention, because Domo is big on this kid Duran, and I got to start watching him more, and I got to start paying more attention to him, because I'm trying to see what you guys are seeing, where this guy is going to be one of the best bigs in the game. I need to start paying more attention to him. But I do think that the Detroit Pistons improved this year. The problem that we have with teams, that fans in particular, they want their team immediately to be a playoff team. They want their team immediately to be a championship contender, when in reality, your team is building something. And I think that's the organization fault, because they don't tell these people that, this is our guy, Cade Cunningham. We're starting with him, and we're building our unit around him, as opposed to, the Knicks, before they got Julius Randle, we making playoffs this year. Y'all just came off 5 50-loss seasons. No, you're not. So if you just be honest with these people and tell them that, we're building our unit around this guy and we're going to get better.
Well, Ron's not here to ask me about the Pistons, so I'll ask myself. Mars, what do you think about the Pistons this season? Oh, thank you for asking.
What do you think about the Pistons this season? How far do you see them going?
There we go. Thank you. I want to start by saying Killian Hayes is the worst player in the NBA. So there we go.
Start the conversation right there. He's garbage.
So Cade's coming back automatically takes away minutes from him. He played like 27 minutes a game. Hopefully that takes about 27 of his minutes away. Hopefully.
So he don't play at all. On the bench.
Yes. So Cade being there, I share the sentiment with all of you guys. I think all of you guys are high on Cade and his upside. I'm with you guys. His feel for the game, His ability, his defensive upside is there. I'm hoping he still has the same mobility as he did before the injury because he's not tremendously athletic, but he uses his size well, uses his body well, and he does stay in front of guards, which is pretty good for someone 6'6". But I think he's at 210, maybe, I think. So the defensive upside is there, very smart. I do have questions about his ability to create separation and get to the rim, which is like my biggest issue with him. I think his lack of, I don't want to say athleticism, but lack of like burst is something that I think is apparent. So I think that's probably what holds him back as a scorer. I don't know if like either the jump shot has to come along or he has to find a way to be more crafty, similar to a Luka Doncic to be able to get downhill. Hopefully he's added something like that to his game. Jaden Ivey, I have a bit more faith than Domo does with his off-ball game. I do agree he's better on the ball, and that might create some fit question marks. But I do have faith in his off-ball game as a cutter, as someone who can attack closeouts. I also think his shot is better than I thought it was going to be coming. I think he went to Purdue, coming out of Purdue. Also defensively, he's a bit all over the place in terms of like knowing where to be and stuff, but he has the tools, I think, to be a okay defender with the right coaching and right system around him. Asar, excellent defender in my opinion from the jump. I think he'll be a great defender. I like his passing. The reason I don't like him as a 2 is because I don't think his handle is very good. I think that's probably why I don't want him in the backcourt. I think he's better as a 3 where his handle isn't really going to be relied upon as much. He can kind of like pass without having to put the ball on the floor. I think that's probably where he's best, playing in transition, being a great defender. I'm not too high on his individual creation, which is probably why I have him as a 3 right now. Now with some development, maybe down the line, sure. But as of like this season, I think he's best at the 3. Marvin Bagley, I don't know how to feel about. I like his isolation scoring. I despise his defense. I despise his passing ability. So I don't know how well he really fits on this team. He really is someone who you can give the ball to and he can go get his own, which is always going to have value. But his floor vision is so bad. And then you have James Wiseman on the team, who I will get to. But that's why I have question marks about Marvin Bagley. But I do think he needs to start because I don't think they have any other actual 4s on the team. I think Stewart, Duran, and Wiseman are all 5s. So I think he's going to start, but I do think they need to look for an upgrade in that position. Jalen Duran, I was pushing propaganda before his draft. I'm still pushing propaganda. He wasn't even born. Guy. Yeah. No, it's my guy, man. Domo came and hijacked the Jalen Duran propaganda, which is disgraceful because Jalen Duran was my guy.
That's my guy.
Criminal. Jalen Duran was born after LeBron had already made his NBA debut. Like, that's how young he is. LeBron had already played NBA games and Jalen Duran was still in the womb. So, very young player. He has already an NBA body. His passing is actually something that's very underrated. No one talks about the fact that he's a very good passing big man. Out the high post, he has a good feel for the game. Excellent athlete. Lob threat, that's something that Cade has never had because Isaiah Stewart wasn't that and he never got to play with Wiseman. So that vertical spacing is something that's great. He's also, it seems like he's working on a jump shot. I don't know how much he really needs one, but it seems that he's working on it. So Jalen Duran is their center of the future.
And it looks nice.
Yeah, he has good touch on his jump shot. So
yeah.
I don't know if he's ever going to extend it to 3, but like in the mid-range, I believe there's something there. So at least a base to work on. Obviously, rim protection's there. Rebounding, he's already one of the best rebounders in the NBA. I'm certain of that. Rim protection's there. Excellent defensive instincts. Already seems to be quite composed in the pick and roll. So he's their starting big. Now, when it comes to Isaiah Stewart and James Wiseman, I believe you pack up Isaiah Stewart because I think James Wiseman has the higher upside. Isaiah Stewart doesn't move particularly well, doesn't provide you much defensively. His best asset offensively is either going to be putbacks or maybe the fact that he can make corner 3s, which is something that was a weird development for Isaiah Stewart. He was taking a lot of corner 3s, which I was like, interesting. So for me, Isaiah Stewart with the lowest upside, I'm packing him up. I stick with the James Wiseman project off the bench. I believe he has offensive game. His post game is okay. He has decent touch on his little lefty hook. Now his right hand doesn't seem to exist. His rebounding is terrible. His defense is criminal. He also can't see the floor very well. So he has a lot of flaws. But I do believe with the athleticism he has, if you teach him and you give him the reps to be able to play NBA level defense, there's an NBA player in there somewhere. You just got to be able to give him the time to actually play through it, right? I think he played like 25 games in Detroit. So I think give him the reps. There's something there. Wherever Isaiah Stewart, I don't see it as much. And then I like adding Joe Harris just for floor spacing off the bench. Bogdanovic is probably going to be their go-to scorer, probably at this point, even if he doesn't start. Probably their go-to scorer. I like Monte Morris just because he's taking the Killian Hayes minutes, hopefully. And I don't think I'm forgetting anyone else.
Do you want Killian Hayes on the crew, or do you?
I want him in Shanghai. I want
send him to Jordan.
Send him to Jordan. You don't even want him on the crew. Forget him on the floor.
He's not an NBA player. As of right now, he's not good enough to play in the NBA. He's not. The only reason he's still in the NBA is because he's young. If he was 26 playing like this, he wouldn't be in the league.
So he's Hollis Jefferson, is what you're saying?
Yes, that's what he should be. That's what he should be going through. The packing him up, send him to Shanghai. The Emmanuel Mudiay, that's what he needs to be. Get him out of the league. So I think I spoke about everyone on the team and wins. They won 17 last year. Assuming health with Cade and everyone, I can see like 31 wins somewhere in that realm. I can see 31, but I see them starting off the season like maybe like 7-5, and everyone's like, "Oh, the Pistons making a play-in push," and then they'll start losing. Yeah, then they'll start losing, and then we realize this isn't the season for competing. But they show flashes that they're maybe one piece or 1 year away from really pushing into the play, and I think that's probably what I expect this season.
But you know what's crazy about this Pistons team? And the reason why I have faith in them at least being I can see them being a playing team just because literally between their start and Pirates shaking his head, but between their starters and their first 5 guys off the bench, they're extremely solid. Like this is
who's their first 5 off the bench? Because I named about I got Wiseman, Bogdanovic, Joe Harris, Monte Morris,
Alec Burks as well.
Alec Burks is good.
That's their backup. I would assume that's their backup too. So I would assume their starters is going to be Cade, Jaden Ivey, Bogdanovic. It would be. Is it going to be Bagley at the 4?
I assume it would be
Bagley at the 4, and it would be what you call it. I feel after training camp they're going to start Duren. There's no way you're not starting Jalen Duren. So that's their 5, and their first 5 off the bench in terms of position: Monte Morris, Alec Burks, Asur Thompson. Then the backup 4 is probably I would say Isaiah Stewart and James Wiseman can play together. Realistically,
are you moving? Are you moving? Can you move Duren to the 4 and start Wiseman at the 5?
The Duren and Wiseman minutes were terrible last season.
That's what I'm talking about, Miles. I know you got him in the beginning. I know you got him in the middle of the season. So, I mean, they didn't really get a chance to get acclimated to what was going on. Now you got a new coach in Monty Williams, who may look at James Wiseman in a different light and have him. And do they both do the same thing? I didn't see enough of these 2 guys together to recognize if they just did the same thing, because I don't think they did the same thing. And if that's not true, then Domo, what you're telling me is that there's going to be a battle in the beginning of the training camp, and that is between Duren and Wiseman, and Duren beats him out.
That's what you want.
As of right now, I don't think it is a battle. I think.
I think it's pretty clear cut.
It's clear. It's clear cut. Jalen Duren is their starting center.
So it's his job to lose. It's his job to lose.
Honestly. Okay. And I think that it was a battle for the backup center minutes, but how they constructed their team, and I see somebody said El Pascal and in Detroit. So I'm not seeing Eric Pascal here, and that's what I assume you're talking about. For their backup, I think that center position, center battle on the bench turned into we can just play them guys together. Because James Wiseman, I will say, there's going to be situations where they do put Duren and Wiseman on the court together, and I think Wiseman ends up being the 4 in the situation. Just because of how his game is. It's going to look bad, and I don't think it's something they should do, but they're definitely going to try it, but Wiseman will be the 4. But off the bench, I think they're going to it doesn't really matter who the 4 is off the bench between Stewart and Wiseman. That's just going to be the guys they have coming off the bench together. I'm not saying that this team is going to be primed to make a push and shock the world, but I would not be surprised if healthy. If Cade staying healthy, Ivy staying healthy, their young core is healthy, and their vets are healthy, this team can be. Why can they not be a playing team in the East?
Domo.
I think it's possible.
I'm asking.
Stop it.
All I'm saying is if everything goes right for Detroit, I think they could be a 10.
What's everything that goes right?
It's a playing team.
Cade comes in and takes a jump. Asar Thompson is exactly what you need him to be as a rookie.
What do you need him to be as a rookie? A starter on a playing team. What do you need him to be?
What we need is his shooting to not be criminal, his defense to translate, and him to be a serviceable 3 in the league. That's what you need. You need Jaden Ivey to just progress on, like naturally progress on what he did as a rookie, which is more of the same rim pressure, similar passing ability. Hopefully, he takes a little bit of a jump defensively. Cade is obviously the one who you're banking on. Bogdanovic, you probably don't trade him in this scenario, and maybe James Wiseman isn't a criminal, and Killian Hayes just stops playing. If all of those things,
how many all of those things just said,
he said everything goes right,
and then you ask what everything
goes. If everything goes perfect, not right. If everything goes perfectly, Mars.
Well, if everything goes perfect, they win the NBA championship. If everything goes perfect,
that's with this roster, if everything goes perfect, they're lucky to be a 8.
That's what I said.
No, okay. Now you know what's crazy. You say that, Ron. Now let me ask you. Do you have the Bulls being better or worse than they were last year?
They're going to be better than the Pistons.
That's not what I asked you.
They're going to be better than the Pistons 100%.
Do you have the Bulls being better or worse than they were last year?
Let me pull it up. 40 wins. I'll say worse.
They'll be worse. So I would assume they fall off. They fall out of the race. Are the Raptors going to be better?
They fall out of the race.
They fall out of the play-in. Yes. If they're worse, yes. You got to win 40 games to be a playing team. They're at 40.
Yeah. All right. Keep
39 takes them out. Is the Raptors going to be better or worse than they were last year?
The Raptors will be worse. Well, hold on. Wait. Let me see what the
Raptors
will be worse. The Raptors will be worse.
And I would employ anybody to pull up these rosters as well. I don't want to just make it seem like I'm talking on my ass. I'm going to bring
No, the Raptors will be worse. The Bulls will be relatively the same. I think they'll be a little worse, but the Raptors will be worse. But go ahead.
So now let me ask. Do you think I assume you will have the Nets as at least a playing team, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So assuming the only teams that I see really falling, because I think the Heat will stay relatively the same. So the Bulls and the Raptors are the 2 teams I think are falling. So between who? The Pacers, the Magic, and the Pistons.
Better.
Those are the 3 teams. Those are the 3 teams I have that I think will be my picks to make it to play-in that weren't there last year. And out of those 3 teams, if all these teams stay healthy, I'm gonna keep it hot. The Pacers are the worst out of all 3 of them.
I ain't saying all that. I'm saying if everything goes right for the Pistons, I can see a world where they finish above one of those teams. But if everything goes right for all 3 of them, I think the Pistons finish below both of them. Especially
Orlando's the best team, Mars. Orlando's the best team out of them. It's between the Pacers and the Pistons, and I would lean towards because I think the Pistons have more talent. If we have all these guys healthy, I think it's the Pistons.
That's what I'm talking about. We're talking about the Central Division alone with Milwaukee, the Pacers, the Pistons, Cleveland, and Detroit. Where are they in that division alone? Just in that division alone, where do you think they are?
Say the teams again.
Milwaukee, Indiana, Chicago, Cleveland, Detroit. Where are they just in that division alone?
Third.
Last.
So they're the 3rd best team in that division. Just so you know, in the Central Division, the 3rd best team in the Central Division is winning like 45 games.
No.
Yeah, last.
Last year the 3rd best team was the Bulls, right?
Yes.
Okay, so 40. All right, so 40 games.
40 games.
So the Detroit Pistons this season take a 23 game.
Yes.
No.
They take a 23 game.
We already agree. Milwaukee and Cleveland are the top 2.
They're the class of that division. So now we're talking about Indiana. We're talking about Indiana. We're talking about Detroit, and we're talking about the Bulls. Those 3 teams. So now when you're talking about this, we're talking about the Detroit Pistons. What kind of offense are they running? Who's their anchor on defense? Right? Who's their dirty work guy? Right? Who is their dirty work guy? How productive is he going to be in this? Not
better
only
than
in this
anybody
offense,
on the Pacers.
What better than anybody?
Any dirty work on the Pacers? I'm saying. Any dirty work?
Who?
Jalen Duren he's the. If you line up all the bigs,
He's the truth.
He's better than all of them. All of them.
He's not better
than Miles Turner.
He's not better than Miles Turner. He's not better than Miles Turner. And he doesn't do more dirty work than Bruce Brown. He's not better than Miles Turner. And he's not more of a dirty work guy than Bruce Brown.
Defensively, I think he's better than Miles Turner. Offensively,
rebounding, he's better.
Overall, as a defender, Miles, or is he? Because I think Miles Turner might be a better rim prprotector than him.
I can give it up.
I do think Miles Turner is better rim
protector. I'll give him rim protection. Yeah,
as a rebounder, and you and I talked about rebounding earlier today. Now, are we talking about a motor? Are we talking about getting loose rebounds? Are we talking about rebounding in traffic? Are we talking about rebounding in games where it's 1 or 2 possessions in order to win the game? Are we talking about Jalen Duren being a better rebounder than Miles Turner in that aspect? Because I'm not sure I'm going there neither.
In all of the above categories, Jalen Duren's a better rebounder.
Jalen Duren is a better rebounder than Miles Turner. Jalen Duren this year will show he's a better center in general, or as Ron would like to say, the guy I'd rather take. That however you want to put it, Jalen Duren is going to be that guy. Even if you don't want to say, "Oh, he's not a better shooter," "Oh, offensively he's not producing." At the end of the day, when we end the season next year, Ron will say, "Yeah, I would rather have Jalen Duren as my center than Miles Turner." I guarantee. Put any amount of money on that.
That might be the case. When it comes to Miles, I really don't think that's hard to beat.
And that's their best big in the Pacers. That's the best.
And Chicago have Vucevic, who's cooked.
Cooked.
Yo, they just extended him. Wait. Are you sure he's cooked? They just extended him.
The Bulls front office is not exactly the pinnacle of intelligence because Vucevic is cooked and has been cooked for like 2 seasons. I don't know why they
just extended him for 3 years. That's some really good money too.
Good. And credit to him. Get your money, Vuce.
Right.
Nice. You're cooked.
I don't like just. And I love the young fella. I do. I'm just not prepared to put Jalen Duren over Miles Turner just quite yet. I believe it's more than likely in the next 4 seasons, he will be. But for this season, next season, I got to see it first. This is one of those things I need to see. I'm not opposed to it. I can see where it's going, but I just
Bob, this is the team that we have to see everything. Everybody has to.
Oh, you know the team. As far as the team goes, I don't got to wait to see. They're not going to be. They're not going to be a playing team. They're not going to the playoffs. But I think.
I just want to make that clear. I said I had them at 31 wins. I just said best case scenario if everything goes right. I can see them as a 10 seed. That's why I said
if they're healthy.
I have them at
all right, now Mars, what's your realistic projection?
31
best case scenario, worst case scenario. If Cade takes 10 leaps forward and Asua Thompson can make threes and Jaden Ivey, what 31 wins?
I'll give him 33. I'll give him 33 because I got the Wizards at 28. So I'll give them 33. I'm fine with 33. I
got the Wizards at like 26. 33. I'll go with 30.
Yeah, 33. That's I could
35 to 40 is my prediction. 35 to 40.
40's crazy, Domo. 40's crazy.
I'm the same guy that thinks the Rockets are going to be a 40-win team too. So I'm just a crazy.
Yeah, but that's not crazy.
That's not ridiculous.
The Rockets are a little better.
That's not ridiculous.
That's not ridiculous.
A little better than this.
And you know what's crazy?
We'll get to that.
We sat here on this panel yesterday, and everyone wanted to tell me, "Oh man, the Pacers look so great, and they were top whatever in their seeding." But when Tyrese went down, their season went downhill. Cade Cunningham didn't even get to play last year for real. That is another thing we're forgetting. If Cade's playing, they're winning more than 17 games.
And they replaced Cade with Killian Hayes.
32 is more than 17.
They went from Cade to Killian Hayes.
Like, come on,
like that's a big.
Y'all like the Pacers' backup point guard. The Pacers' backup point guard, Nimbard. Niggas love Nimbard. Exactly. Yeah. You about to say
TJ
McConnell.
TJ McConnell. I like TJ McConnell.
They have serviceable backups.
Killian Hayes.
Thank you. So Killian Hayes was the guy getting majority of the minutes when Cade went down. All I'm saying is if these guys stay healthy,
they won 17 games. 32 was almost
they won 17 games.
I can see Damo's line.
ChillTown, 32 is almost double 17. So what we're saying, with trade coming in, they'll double up.
I'm with you.
They'll double
up. It's not necessarily doubling up. Remember though, you're just thinking from Cade Cunningham's perspective that it's just going to be Cade. How much better does he make them though? Right? So Cade Cunningham he makes them so much better. Not just him scoring the basketball. He makes Wiseman better. He makes Ivy better. He makes all of these guys better if he's on the floor. Now, if you take Killian Hayes and take Cunningham out and put Killian Hayes, how much better does he make these guys? They only won 17 games. As opposed to TJ McConnell, who actually defends as a backup.
No, Killian's bad. Killian's bad.
He's worse than Ben McLemore.
But the problem is that
he's worse than Jimmy for that.
He's worse than he's worse than Dante Green. He's worse than Jason Thompson. Think of anybody on the Kings.
He's what?
Worse than him.
He's worse.
Thomas Robinson?
Yes.
I love T-Rob too, and he's worse than Thomas Robinson. And Jalen
he's worse than Robert Sacre.
What were you about to say, Pirates? Before I blow a gasket on Domo, pause.
I just feel like we have to give a little more credit to the actual macro view. This is an extremely young team that has thus far proven absolutely nothing other than they can be the worst team in the league. I mean, and they've had, going into next season, they've had no external infusion of talent. Historically, in the NBA, when you're talking about a team like that, major leaps have to occur just to get above the level where you're like the worst team in the league. Cade Cunningham's definitely better than Killian Hayes, but he's also thus far proven they have a backcourt where they have a big point guard and a short shooting guard. I'm not in love with that formula. Their backcourt together has career shot 41%. I'm not saying they won't shoot better. I think they probably will, but it's going to take a major leap. If Cade Cunningham is a 20-point, 41% type guy, to make an actual needle push on the team, he's going to have to both improve volume and efficiency, which I'm not saying he can't do, but it's not proven.
Your point guard, your shooting guard, and your center all are presuming, and this is just what we're assuming with these guys taking.
You're presuming everyone improves, which could happen.
Wait. I'm presuming their point guard, shooting guard, and center improve, and they also added a 20-point per game veteran scorer. I don't know why. And an actual good coach. I don't know why that is so crazy to think. That on top of the bench things, the guys they added on the bench, the consistency that they have on the bench wouldn't be, okay, they could be a play-in 10th seed at worst. I'm not saying these guys are going to shot.
At worst.
And again,
wait, you're saying 10th seed at worst?
At worst.
So what do you think the best? So what do you think the best case scenario would be? You're thinking 10th seed at worst?
At worst, 10th seed, at best 8th. That's it.
So they're a playoff team.
So you think they're in the play-in lock?
You think they're a lock for the play-in?
At worst, they're a play-in team.
I just don't mathematically. I don't feel like it's adding up. I don't feel like it's adding up.
If their guys are healthy, if the young core is healthy, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, Cade Cunningham, if they're healthy, if Bogdanovich stays healthy, I think this is a playing team. With the bench they have, with the role players they have.
Is Cade Cunningham better than Chris Paul?
Right now, yes.
No,
I'm not doing this Halliburton shit. No,
I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure you're not drinking what me and Jalen was drinking yesterday. Because all I'm trying to say is
that's where he's going with that.
Right now, he's better than Chris Paul. Yes, right now.
Do you understand how much carrying Cade Cunningham has to do of this ragtag crew he has?
Do you understand how little?
I think you calling them a ragtag crew.
It is a ragtag crew, and I'm not saying that in terms of I do
ragtag
believe
is a compliment.
I do believe that they have
the talent on this crew is not garbage, fellas.
No,
wait a minute, man. We talking like this talent. They ain't show, okay?
Check me out.
Solid, I believe, is a stretch.
It's absolutely no experience, and that's my thing. We're begging
There's
on
absolutely no
player from Jaden Ivey, and we last year's season it wasn't all of that.
They have experience, it's just not in their best players.
Thank you.
They have experience.
They have veteran guys there.
Joe Harris.
But Bojan, he was their best player last year. He's going to be older this year.
They have 3 guys with experience. And what experience does Bojan, Joe Harris, and Monte? Which they're going to be playing against teams that are experienced from top to bottom. How many teams roll out a third point guard?
We're talking about them making the play. We're talking about them against Orlando and Indiana.
Okay, and I'll get to Orlando and Indiana. Orlando and Indiana are just significantly better to me. But I'm saying we're talking. But look though, no, this is the thing though. This is the thing. You're comparing them to those 2 teams. They don't just play those 2 teams in the regular season. They play all 30 teams, which all 30 teams are going to be more experienced. They're going to roll out more talent. They're going to have.
Ron, you talking about an Orlando Magic team. You talking about an Orlando Magic team that you said is significantly better, and we're gauging the Detroit Pistons without their best player, right? So how much? But not only are we gauging them without their best player, we're gauging them without their best player and a coach who's coming in with NBA Finals experience. That's number 2.
Greg Popovich takes over the crew. What are we expecting them to do?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I'm not expecting. I'm not
expecting
them to be at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. I don't know if Orlando is significantly better than them with their best player. Without their best player and Killian Hayes starting at the one, absolutely, Mars. 100%, I'll give you that. With their best player, I don't know if Orlando is significantly better because again, Cade makes all of those other guys, in addition to himself, he makes all of those other guys better.
This is what I need you guys to understand. Cade Cunningham is still unproven. And I love Cade, but he's still unproven, and he missed the majority of the season last year.
Yes,
so we got to even see what he looks like in a full season. Jaden Ivey, unproven, played 1 year in the NBA. Asor Thompson, who we're assuming is going to start at the 3, we have no clue what this guy's
starting at the 3.
No clue at all. Okay, Bogey, I'll give you Bogey. All right, and then we move on to Isaiah Stewart. I love Isaiah Stewart. But I'm not going to spend too much time talking about Isaiah Stewart. And then we got Jalen Duren, who, Domo, you put me onto him.
Marvin Bagley is the starting floor. Isaiah Stewart's coming off the bench.
You've talked about him. But this is what I got to say about Jalen. You guys just said that he is the youngest player in the NBA, or one of the youngest.
He was last year. I don't know if he still is because.
So we're banking on a dude who's the youngest player in the NBA to make a significant impact on a playoff team. I'm not saying it can't be done, but I don't think it can be done.
You don't think a young guy can have a significant impact on a playing team?
Not the impact of that you guys are expecting.
What
not the impact that
you're making it? Wait! You're making it seem like I'm calling him the damn MVP. I just said the kid can play basketball. That's all I said.
Domo. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But it's when has a group this young made an improvement from 17 games into they're gonna have to win about to what get into the play, and they're gonna have to win what about 38?
Yeah, but you got see that's
the Oklahoma City Thunder last season. We just watched it, Ron. Go look at the Thunder roster last year.
Now watch now.
Wait, hold on, Pirate. Before you even do that shit, hear me out. I understand.
You don't even know what shit I'm gonna do.
Don't do it. I know what shit you about to do.
Hold on. I understand SGA had a significant leap. Just like Pirate said, if you're gonna have a young team,
I didn't even get
make that type of a jump. If they're gonna make this type of a jump, a guy has to make a significant leap. You just said that earlier. I understand. Yeah. What I am saying is, I believe Cade Cunningham is going to have a significant leap. He's going to be the guy to have a significant leap. Jaden Ivey is going to take a big step, in my opinion. Jalen Duren is going to take a step to a big step, in my opinion. And they have a 20-point per game guy. They also have vets coming off the bench that can produce. I don't know why it is sounding so asinine for me to say I believe if they're all healthy, they're a 10th seed. That is crazy.
And
you said 10th. You said 10th at the worst. You said 10th at the worst. You said 10th at the worst.
But you got to remember, Detroit isn't a true 17-win team. They replaced their best player with the worst player in the league. Like so 17 wins.
All right, they're a 21-win team.
How much experience?
There's no way
you win They win 4 more games with Cade.
How much experience?
They win 4 more games with Cade.
How much experience do the Pacers have?
With the production that Cade has shown thus far, it's not going to be a huge needle mover, even over Killian Hayes, unfortunately speaking.
Oh my God! I can't
with the production,
I can't wait to do the "I told y'all" dance. I can't wait.
Me either, man. We're coming back to this, man.
Crazy.
When Detroit wins 22 games, don't think I'm not calling you out.
Yeah, we need that. I'm not gonna play the humble role like these two was just trying to do. If they do that, I need you to come back and tell me you told me so, because I'm not sold. I'm not buying,
everyone looks good in September, bro.
I'm not buying this shit off the clearance rack, Domo.
No, I'm not buying 10th seed at worst.
I'm not sold. Like I've seen Monty
at best. I think there's a world where they could hit 10th. Possibly, maybe, probably not.
This guru coach Monty Williams that y'all talking about, I've seen him fold a couple times. So I'm not buying that shit either.
You ain't never heard me bring. You ain't hear me bring up Monty Williams when I was talking about why this team is going to be.
Well, I'll bring him up.
Somebody
did. Monty Williams can coach. I'll bring him up because Monty Williams can coach.
Especially in the regular season, Monty Williams is a hell of a coach.
Yes,
now, if you want to say he folds in the playoffs and closeout games, sure, fine. Well,
he ain't gonna get the opportunity
in the words of Ticket, if Bullethead can coach, Monty Williams can coach too. So
that's not even the same thing.
Yes, it is.
No, I've seen Monty looking shook on that sideline enough.
I'm 100% confident. I'm 100% confident. I watched Mike Brown throw a bunch of games and get out coached a bunch of times.
I mean, yeah, of course. I've seen him get out coached. I'm not saying I haven't seen him get out coached. I've seen pretty much all the coaches in the NBA get out coached. But I haven't seen enough from Monty Williams.
You about to see a lot from Cade. You about to see a lot from Jalen.
And that's what I need to see, Domo.
You about to see a lot from James Wiseman. I can't wait. Oh my God. Oh my. And you know what's crazy? We fast forward, and them niggas win 24 games.
Yeah, this is not gonna look good.
It didn't even happen.
Bro, honestly, you look at every team that's ever existed in the NBA. They got talent, man. You look at like all the last place teams from pretty much every season. There's some guys you can be like, oh, this guy can play, that guy can play. You look at the collection of talent. Detroit is an extremely young, unproven team. Which, I mean, you can have a very optimistic view, which you obviously do. But just mathematically speaking, if you're like betting on what's probably going to happen next year, a team like this is probably, hopefully, going to take some small steps. And Cade Cunningham will hopefully get up, start shooting maybe 43, 44%. I'm telling you, if you got volume shooters that are in the low 40s, it don't matter if you're scoring 25, 26 points a game. That's not winning. That's not winning anything.
In the regular
I'm saying, if I consider if you're 20 points a game, that's compared to like the average NBA player on the floor. That's going to be a volume shoot.
You dudes want to really get into the chat because I'd like to. Hey, Ron, or even Mars. This dude in the chat, Buddy OG. I am not asking you. I am daring you to come up here right now. I dare you. Because you had a problem with me the whole time that I've been on this show. So whatever issue you got with me, my man, I'm not asking you. I dare you to come up here. Get to the bottom of what
it's always Buddy.
What did he say, Joe? What did he say? What did he say?
Come up
hey,
here.
buddy, you see that link over there, buddy?
Deal with me. I dare you.
Hey, anyone whose name isn't Buddy OG, you're getting
I dare you to come up here right now.
Hey, if you're not Buddy OG, you might as well not even click that link.
With me. Apparently you do. You got an issue with me. So whatever your issue is with me, I dare you to come up here. Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's for real get to the bottom of it.
You see this tight, buddy? It could be you and Chill, buddy.
What we do up here is we come up here and we talk basketball. And you guys in the audience are a part of the show. You clearly want to be a part of the show. So come up here and deal with me. And whatever problem you got with me, let's get to the bottom of it, B. Let's get to the bottom of it.
I ain't
right now.
Why he disappeared? Why he disappeared?
Right now.
He just stopped typing. That's crazy.
He said
anyway, can we get back to the Detroit Pistons, please? Can we get back to the Detroit Pistons, please?
We talk about the Detroit Pistons at 8 Mile. He rapping that Eminem song in the mirror right now, Chill. He about to pull up.
Anyway.
Palms are sweaty. Palms are heavy.
Wait, so let me ask. So you guys feel, and I'm gonna keep referencing this team from last year because it's crazy. So y'all feel like what we seen from the Thunder last year, that was just once in a generation, once in an era type of improvement.
No, I don't think
that's
so.
Just something that's unprecedented improvement. That's just something that's just not normal.
No,
that's something we're gonna see.
No, I don't think that.
That's how y'all feel.
No, it's not unprecedented. I would say SGA had a better track record going into next year than Cunningham.
Is that fair, Domo? I mean, he averaged 24 games. He averaged 24 games like the year before that. So he was on his way to doing something special.
Mm-hmm.
He was definitely
much more efficient.
So it wasn't like he was averaging 11 a game and went from 11 to 30. Like, yo, where this dude come from? Nah, it wasn't like that. And
much more efficient. Ivy to me looks, I mean, he's a smaller off guard, which just in general, I'm not the biggest fan of. What he showed last year was a low efficiency. Obviously, things are going to change with Cunningham. Let's see. But I'm just saying, if you look at the history of the NBA, a team like this, even Duran, he looks good.
Season went on, though.
Duran looks good, you know? And I mean, wait, what's that? I missed. What happened?
He's here.
Oh, he pulled up.
He said,
"Oh,
now you in the back, bro. We can't hear you when you in the back."
Hey, with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen,
I'm muted.
Yeah, I ain't about to talk. You got this.
Here's a Buddy OG.
Domo.
Domo.
What's up, buddy? We couldn't hear you.
What's good? Okay, what's good, man?
Now, chill with you. The first thing you were saying, what you said, you called me a hoe. At the start of this show, you called me a hoe, right? As a man, you don't do that over no camera. You don't do that. Like, that's what you don't do. We talking straight basketball talk. You call me a hoe.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. You as a man.
No, we don't. Yes, you did. That's all you do. That's all you've ever done. But anyway, I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to listen. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to listen.
Now, for one thing, right? You get mad because people peep out your agenda.
What's my agenda, sir?
I don't know what episode it was.
What's my agenda, sir?
You said Kobe did nothing better than LeBron. But
yes, I did say that. Yes, I did say that.
Bruh, old as you is, why would you say some stupid shit like that?
Because it's true. That's why.
Old as you is, though.
That's why, buddy, because it's true. That's why.
I want to ask the whole
Get to the point, buddy.
No, that's the point. You be lying.
Get to the point, buddy.
Your agenda be so.
And you do this, and you do the same thing with Kobe. The exact thing I do with James, you do the same thing with Kobe. You do the exact same thing. The exact same thing. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. Every time I talk about James, you do the same thing about Kobe Bryant. And the minute I don't say something about Kobe Bryant, I hate him. But if I say something great about James, here we go. He loves James. So you do the exact same thing.
Now, Pete, this, right? The whole chat panel that exposed you for your hate for Kobe. Everybody called you out for it. Not only just me. Everybody called you out for it.
No, just you. That's just you.
No, you're lying. You're lying.
Just
right
you.
You're lying, Chill. You're lying. Okay, this is the second thing. I said something to Ops about what you just said about Mike Brown. That's what you tripped out about because I mentioned Braun. This is how you is. You really tripped out.
I said about Mike. So let me ask you a question. First and foremost, that's not true. That is not true. Number one.
And your ass one out when I said that, man.
Number one.
Spade, man.
I'm glad you bring that up. I'm glad you brought that up. So everybody here, just so you guys know, when I brought that up, everybody here knows that Mike Brown got out coached by Stan Van Gundy in that series. Everybody knows that. That's not my opinion. That is a fact. He got out coached by him. Everybody know that. Oh, he left.
I'm gonna assume you like that. I got faith in you, buddy.
Buddy, we need you back up here. We need you to finish your point.
I'd say Kobe did play better perimeter defense and a better shot creator.
I think he's a better shooter
than LeBron.
I think he's a better shooter than LeBron anyway.
Yeah, just shooter in general. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, at least we had somebody come from the chat with a little bit of smoke. That was entertaining. That was solid. But
usually they come up here and they talk crazy to Chill or anybody in the chat and to come up here and be like, "Hey man, I respect the show. I just want to let you know I'm a big fan." Hey,
he's mad.
At least Buddy brought the ruckus. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I could have put any. I would have put any amount of money.
Right or wrong, bring the ruckus.
Yo, I would have put any amount of money, in the world. I would have put that the fact that he was so mad at Chill was
on Kobe. Yeah, it's gonna be Kobe. It's gonna be Kobe.
What it's about? That's this guy.
Certain players got an effect on people.
They're gonna ride about Kobe, ChillTown. They're gonna ride about Kobe.
Yeah, absolutely. And the crazy thing about it is guys like Mars push that agenda that I hate to do, which I don't.
How are you blaming me?
Because you gaslight this, Mars. Because absolutely, Mars, you pour more gasoline on it, and I don't hate the dude, but it's almost like I should. Because that's the logic that guys like Mars is pushing, which I won't get into because I don't hate the dude. I think the dude is fantastic. I love the guy.
Some players, man.
As old as you is.
Right, exactly. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? As old as I am.
All right, chat. I'm running a poll right now. I'm asking, does Mars have something to do with this? The answer is yes, no, or he definitely has
Buddy's back.
something to do with this. He's back.
100%.
Buddy's back.
Oh.
Back to
I had to smoke real quick. Calm down.
Get his nerves right.
No, I just get his nerves down. I
can get with that. Man. I used to work.
As a man,
I used to work in the penitentiary. Just so you know, I used to work in the penitentiary.
Okay, so how did you call another
with
man
that being said,
camera?
And with that being said,
over camera.
Man, you talk crazy. Bro. I don't even pay attention to the chat like that, and you talk crazy about me all the time. Yes, you do. Plenty of times. I don't really pay attention to you, B. Yes, you do. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Plenty of times. Plenty of times. OG, this. Oh, absolutely. OG, and I don't do that neither. I don't never invite no man to my manhood. I don't do that. So that's number one. Number two, you actually said in the chat about me, OG, this bitch ass, You said that about me. You lying. I'm done talking to this dude. Yes, you did. Yes, you had. This bitch ass, and you said that about me. Yes, you had. Yes, you had. I'm 100% confident.
Yo, Buddy and chill. This is what we got to get down to the bottom of.
Man, he's a Kobe guy. So because he's a Kobe guy, immediately I don't need to push agendas for the dude. Why do I need to push agendas for the dude? He's already proven. There's no reason for me to push agendas for him. He's already proven. Just like Kobe is proven. And you don't have to push agendas for him. What are you talking about?
Buddy and chill. Chill.
The exact same thing. No, I'm not going to chill out.
No, I'm not saying chill. I'm calling your name. I'm saying, Buddy, I want to hear, what is your beef with Chill? Y'all going back and forth. I know it started with the chat, but now, like with back and forth in the chat, might have been some name calling and whatnot. Let's get all that out of here. Let's talk cool. I want to know, what do you dislike with that shit? What take do you dislike?
That's the first fact, Ron. I never
called this man. I wouldn't say
that. What's your basketball beef with Chill? We'll discuss that. What's your basketball beef?
That's the first one. I don't know what episode it was, like 1, 2, or 3, man. He said that right there, Kobe don't do nothing better than LeBron. But every time,
actually, it was on Chill. It was on Chill. It was on Fluent and Chill. That's what it was
on the panel, man.
No, it wasn't. In fact, not only was it on Fluent and Chill, it was on when Shaq was on. Focus, brother.
Oh my God, focus. Man. How you gonna tell me, man? It was on.
Because I'm telling you, I said it. What are you talking about? I'm telling you, I said it. And I'm telling you when I said it.
This is the second.
What are you talking about?
This is the second thing, right? You bring up something bad about LeBron. Chill would say, if you don't talk bad about LeBron, Chill would say, the fact is, bring up more facts. If you say talk about Kobe in a negative light, Chill would want to keep on hearing it. He would smile like he's doing right now, granted. Just like he's doing right now, granted. If you talk about Kobe in a...
I won't say that. That's unbelievable. So I won't defend Kobe, right? I won't defend Kobe, even though I do. But I will defend James, and that's my problem. But if somebody says something bad about Kobe, you will defend him, but you won't defend James. So it's not the same thing. Come on, man. What are we talking about here? What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm listening to everything that you say. I heard everything that you just said. Everything. And all you're doing is double talking me. That's what you're doing right now. That's all you're doing. What are we talking about?
What is your basketball beef with Chill? Can we get down to the bottom of this?
He just told you, man. It's Kobe.
What?
That's it. That's all it is, Domo. It's Brian. That's what it is. It's Brian.
Do you peep his agendas for Brian?
Listen. I won't sit here and say I peep the agendas for Bron, but I will say, if I had to call it, listen, when it comes to Kobe, hey man, I've called Chill a Kobe hater a couple times. I've said it myself. I've said it, bro. I've said it, man. Now the LeBron agenda, the LeBron agenda. I'm with him.
Man, you can keep it, man. You
man. He like that, man. He like that,
I
man.
do like that. I do like that. I do like that.
It's all love, man. The whole panel. Like I told y'all, man. I appreciate you. I really do, man. I watch y'all every day, man. Wake up, yeah, man. Before I even get to brushing my teeth and shit, man. I'm waiting for y'all, man. No bullshit, man.
Yo, buddy. Appreciate you for coming up, but before we leave, or before you leave, and we too, we got to wrap up here pretty soon. But I gotta hear your top 10.
I just gave it in the chat earlier. Damn, somebody called me out about it. Jordan, Magic, Kobe. Jordan, Magic, Kobe.
Come on, buddy. Mic is on, brother. Where you at?
Jordan, Magic, Kobe. I want to say Hakeem, Shaq, Bron,
We up to 6. We up to 6.
Oh, okay.
Start from the top.
Jordan, Magic.
You said King, Shaq, Bron. Yeah.
Did you say Steph, KD, or KD, Steph?
Steph and KD was my last two. Steph and KD was my last. KD was.
You haven't said Bird yet. You haven't said Bird.
No, he didn't. I think he said KG. I think he said KG.
No,
Steph.
I ain't say KG. I ain't say KG.
He said
Jordan. He said Jordan, Magic, Kobe.
No Kareem. No Kareem.
Bron. And now we're waiting for 7. You haven't said Larry Bird. You said KD and Steph are 9 and 10. So
right.
7
hasn't
and
said
8.
Kareem.
Yeah. So you haven't said Kareem. You haven't said Will. You haven't said Bill Russell. You haven't said Larry Bird.
Those Duncan. He didn't say Duncan either.
Okay.
Oh, you haven't said Tim Duncan.
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Duncan at 7.
That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it
was.
was.
Top, we got Jay, Magic, Kobe, Olajuwon, Diesel. We got Bron. Who was number 7? Did he say?
Duncan was 7.
Duncan, KD, Steph. Who was number 8? I mean, who was number 10?
Steph, KD was 10. KD 10.
KD's 10.
KD's 10. Steph is 9.
He probably got Scotty 8.
Who was number 7 that he had? Yeah, Bron
7
is 6.
was Duncan. Duncan was 7.
I'm assuming Larry Bird is 8, but he hasn't said it yet.
That 1 and 10?
Nah, that was 9. You named 9.
You
You said 9 names.
So
you ain't say 8. Whoever was at the
give it. I give it to Kareem. I give it.
Don't twist his arm now. Don't twist his arm now, because that's basically what you're doing. You sure now, buddy?
Yeah,
he ain't trying to have a white guy in this top 10 squad.
Yeah. I give it to Kareem. Like I said, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all be careful, man.
All right, buddy.
Have a good day, man.
Hey, buddy, we'll catch you in the chat. Hey, buddy, don't turn down in the chat. Matter of fact, buddy, take it up another notch.
Bro, I'm gonna be here, man. God say so. Nothing happen. I'm gonna be here, man.
All right, no doubt.
Hey, Ron, I gotta bounce out, man.
All right. Later, Domo.
All right, Domo. I'll catch y'all tomorrow.
All right, yo.
Pistons is making a play, and I'm in and on.
Wait, Domo. Before you leave,
this is recorded, Domo.
You want to make a bet?
What's the bet?
Yeah, I'll bet that shit. I will bet that shit.
24 wins.
Over.
Damn, how much? 24. Shit.
But you hold on. All right, let's.
I was gonna bet the 10th seed.
No.
Domo, $100 on the 10th seed.
27 and I feel comfortable. 10 more wins.
Domo, $100 on the 10th seed.
Wins? Again, I said they're playing if they're healthy. So I ain't gonna lie to you.
you said worst case scenario 10th seed, bro.
No. Worst case scenario why they're healthy. Worst case scenario
to start the season.
Take runs bet 27.
Domo, $100 on the 10th seed.
Pirates said he got 100 on it.
I can't do 100 on the 10th seed because I don't know who's going to get. I don't know if I can get hurt.
Now the truth comes out. Now the truth comes out.
You don't feel it.
No. If Cade gets hurt, it's a wrap. We just seen it last year. Cade gets hurt, and Killing Hayes is giving you 24 minutes.
If someone gets hurt in sports, oh my God. Yeah, no shit, man. That comes into play.
If the best player gets hurt, why the fuck am I going to take that bet? That's crazy.
Bro, that's what preseason bets are for.
Domo, look, 30 wins. All right, we got $100 on 30 wins.
Yes,
look, 30 wins. 30 wins.
Yes.
We went in Mars. How we went from 24 to 27 to 30?
I had to think logically. 30 wins.
30 wins.
$100.
Take that.
All right, and look though. I'm gonna give you an out. If Cade gets injured for more than 15 games. Then the contract is null and void. It's out.
Hell no.
That's bullshit. If he's willing to take that injury still factor into 30 wins, you just don't think they're getting the 10th seed.
He might load, man. It's 15 games.
Hey, man, you know what's crazy? He ain't make none of this bet with none of y'all. Too many niggas is talking. Ron, I love to take that bet. How much you putting?
100 on it.
Ron said he got 100 on it.
And I'm giving you an out with the whole Cade thing, too.
That's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
How many games? 18?
Hey, but Domo, what if Cade is out that many games and they still win enough games?
He said he's giving me an out, so I have to accept the out. Now, if I don't accept the out, then it don't matter. The out don't matter.
Oh my God!
What happened?
You got to be clear. You got to be clear with cats like Ron, Domo. He'll try to flip that.
Wait, yeah. If it's exactly 30, what we saying? We
just do 29 and a half. So
you have to do 30 at 29 and a half. Yeah, 29 and a half.
Yeah, 29 and a half.
Bet.
Or 30 and a half.
Hey, look, check it out. We gotta add another layer to it. If them niggas don't win 20 games, you gotta give me 300.
What?
And if
So we tripping the bet.
If they win 40,
I'm about to say, yeah. They win 40, you gotta give me 300.
If they win 40,
Yeah,
you gotta
cool.
give him
That's
300.
I bet.
We got a bet. We got a bet. We got a deal. Okay.
Where's my bet, man? I want my 100.
I need all ones.
All ones?
I need all ones, brother.
Fuck that. I'm giving you to them in nickels, nigga. You getting
That's
all nickels.
fire.
All right, y'all. Y'all be easy, man. I'll catch y'all tomorrow.
Later.
All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and dive into these super chats.
Hey, Ron. So
What's up?
I know we supposed to. What division is this? The Pistons
Central
division. So I know we're supposed to be doing the Central division, right?
Yeah.
But seeing as tomorrow, I can't be here for the first 2 hours, so I might not be here at all tomorrow. Maybe we should do the Lakers tomorrow.
No, we're not doing the Lakers tomorrow. We're still in the Central Division. Don't worry about that, Big Ox. Don't you concern yourself with the Lakers. Okay, we're still in the Central Division. So
I don't got time. I'm not trying to get attacked by the chat. Every time we talk about the Lakers, they call me a hater. I'm not.
You are.
I can't embrace my hate.
Can you stand
I'm
on
just waiting for the Houston show. I'm gonna be real.
I'm trying to get SB on for the Chicago show, but he's went missing. So if anybody talks to SB or if you know where SB's at, tell him to check his Telegram and hit me up. Trying to get him on for the Chicago show.
I already lost the bet, so I got to shave the goatee.
What was that bet? Fluent was telling me about it.
I lost the bet yesterday. Well, before the season started, me and Tone had a bet that Tone said that Trey Lance wasn't going to be on the 49ers roster before the season started. And I said that if he's not, Tone said, I forgot what, if he was, Tone was going to do for me. I think it was some bread. And he said that if he won, I had to shave the goatee. So I got to clean my face up. So
damn, you going to be clean shaven, chill. That's tough.
I got to do it tomorrow.
Damn. Well, on the show?
I'm not doing it on the show. I'll be clean by the time the show comes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Next Thursday. Oh, that's tomorrow. Oh,
yeah,
tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I gotta do it.
Y'all
a deal's a deal.
First.
A deal is a deal. So,
all right, y'all. Well, Tony Grasky sent through a super chat. He said, "I know they say it's a wings league, but what position do y'all think is the most important in hoops right now?"
When they say wings, they talking about flats or drumsticks. Because you know what I'm saying. Personally, I like the flats. So.
I think it's criminal that companies have gotten away with selling a wing, a flat, and a drum as two wings when that's part of one wing. Me personally, I think that's criminal. I don't know why we just accepted that as society. That's one wing, but we're paying for two. That's I don't accept that. But that's a I'm outraged.
That's a fact, boys.
Appreciate the super chat, Tony Grasky. Drink More Water said, "Wait until you hear about AI, chill."
Pyro, where do you have AI? Where do you have AI?
It's the end of the show, bro. We don't have time for all that. That's the guy who's not in your top 100? We don't have time for all that.
Yes,
we don't have time.
The guy is not in his top 100.
We can make.
I can make plenty of lists where AI is high on the list,
but not the list he actually uses.
But not the list. No, not the
Pirate,
list.
you know, there's a Buddy OG out there waiting for you. That is a big Iverson.
I would have to grab if we were.
Me and Buddy are tight, man. Hey, shout out Buddy.
It is a Buddy equivalent that feels the same way about Allen Iverson.
I know. Trust me, Ron. I know. There are definitely people walking around who absolutely hate it does not matter what I say on anything, really. And we can agree on 99 other games, but the only thing they will remember is that for some reason I hate AI. Even though I've gone over this before, I grew up with AI. I bought an AI jersey. I paid money to go see AI play. I rooted for AI against the Lakers. There are certain facets and aspects of his game that prohibit him from making my personal top 100.
I would have to. I would have to.
Of course, 99% of the basketball world disagrees.
I would have to.
And I'm cool with
that. If we was outside, I would have to grab Pirate and drag him up back because he gets stomped.
That's fair. Yeah, because nobody. The only thing people hear is that I hate AI. That's the only thing that's going to come through is that I hate AI.
I can at least justify my logic that with Kobe Bryant. I can, and there's some people who don't have Kobe Bryant as a top 10 player. You can't. You'd be really hard pressed to say Allen Iverson is not one of the top 100 players all time in NBA history.
Pirate, we're gonna jump your ass, Pirate.
I would have to.
Something like 30 shooting guards.
He would get jumped.
100%. Well, I've gone over this so in depth. Check out Open Gym episode 94, and you can see 3 hours. 3 hours on it. All right, and again, like they're playing. Mars, I've already said, is AI one of the top 10 most talented in as pure as raw basketball talent? Shooting guards, I believe so. He has top 10 talent. I'm not diminishing AI's raw ability at all. I was an AI fan, goddammit. I'm not going to listen to fucking 16-year-olds saying that I hate AI.
I'm pulling up with the car. I'm pulling up with the car right now, and I'm flinging the door.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
I'm pulling up the car right now, and I'm flinging open the door, Pirate.
There are many factors. The way I view the game, I'm not starting a 6 foot tall guy who can't guard the wing, who's scoring 30 points a game on 39%. All right, I hate AI. I hate AI. You know why I hate him? I'm jealous. I am so fucking jealous of AI.
Pirate, we see you in the streets. You better run.
I'm pulling up the car and I'm flinging open the door.
It's ridiculous.
It's
ridiculous. It's so funny because like people get angry. I don't get angry. I mean, I have some guys like George Gervin, Artis Gilmore. I got guys rated higher than a lot of other people. I don't get angry that you don't see exactly what I see in different players. Man, this is basketball, man. I grew up in a time where you sit around and you drink a beer.
If someone said to you, George Gervin isn't top 100, you'd be pretty upset.
No, I mean, I wouldn't be upset. I would imagine I would look at the factors.
Tony Parker,
because that was bullshit, man. There's no way Tony Parker is better than George Gervin. Right. But I would understand. I would be like, you know what? I'm probably speaking to a young person. I'm probably speaking to someone who loves the bag and wants to see a guy fucking dribble, and they're into that. And if you're into that, be into that, man. That's your thing. That's all good, man. That's fine. All right. Me personally, when I see a shooting guard, I want to see someone with some length. I want to see someone who can actually shoot. I want to see someone who can defend the wing. That's what I want to see. That's me, man.
I'm trying to make somebody around our age, somebody around my age, trying to justify giving you legit logic that George Gervin is not a top 100 player. You will run them over with your car. Yes, you would.
Yes, you would.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, no, I would. Yeah, I would definitely. You know what I do. I think everybody knows what I would do.
All right. Okay. All right. I think it's a good time to move on. Hey, Pirate, so what you're saying is he's more talented, but he's not better.
At playing
that logic.
You know what, Pirate?
I think Allen Iverson was a tremendous basketball talent. I think he was a tremendous basketball talent that was probably the most misused player in NBA history. I do not think Allen Iverson.
12% of people agree with you.
No, well, that's way higher than I thought. Rock on, man. Yeah. Hey, 12%. And to the other 88%, hey, man, I like basketball. You like basketball. Let's be friends. It's okay. It's one player. I do whatever you believe. I honestly am a fan of Allen Iverson. If I made my 100 favorite players in the NBA, Allen Iverson's on that list. Top 100 influential players in the NBA. Allen Iverson's on that list. Top 100 ball handlers. AI, man, all day. I like Allen Iverson. I do like Allen Iverson. I am a fan. I love Allen Iverson.
So Ron, she could be the best looking chick in the state. She could be the best looking. She could be Miss America. She can even be Miss World. She can't be Miss Universe though. No, she can't do that.
Yeah,
nope.
He hates AI, but it's
this is so unfortunate. Like, goddamn you for bringing this up at the end of the episode, where there's absolutely no way I can explain this qualification and not have it come.
We'll get into this. We'll definitely get into this.
The only thing people are going to hear is that I hate Allen.
All we need is a TikTok clip where he says AI is not a top 100 player.
That's all we got to do.
Yeah, that's all you're looking for. You're just looking for the soundbite after me. Nobody cares about context. That's fine.
Pirate, I'm not gonna wait for the TikTok. I'm gonna screen record this on YouTube. I'm gonna clip it real quick, and I'm I got about 200 people I'm finna send this to in my phone book. At least 200 people.
All right, y'all. Back to the super chat. Y'all go ahead and let me run through these, and we're gonna go ahead and do the thing. Terry with two dads said, "Chill. Do you remember when we said we never seen a center as good as Duren on the defensive side for the Pistons?"
Woo, 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 woo.
No, Ron. Terry with two dads.
Mars, don't even Mars.
As a pure defender on the Pistons.
Hey, Mars, do not get sucked into this logic, Mars.
Terry
competition?
Terry has been trolling Chill for about 2 weeks now, Ron. He has been trolling Chill with super chats, forcing me to read them, and I don't realize he's trolling, so I'm done reading it.
I'm not gonna lie. I think Jalen Duren might be the best, just pure defensive. He might be the best defensive center to ever play for the Pistons.
Right. Anytime you hear Chill, do you remember when? Just move on, bro. Move on.
So Ben Wallace has never existed, huh?
No, he exists. I'm just saying Jalen Duren might be better than him.
What the fuck? Come on. What's happening right
Super chats.
Okay.
Grande Jones said T-Mac is more skilled than Wade, but people would say Wade is better.
Yes.
Yeah, more skilled doesn't
misunderstanding.
Mean yeah, we got to the bottom of it. It was a
we got to the bottom. Yeah.
Peak Mac Sauce, peak Flash.
I go Wade easily.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
I also think Wade is more skilled anyway, but
yeah, I'm going Wade too.
Yeah, I'm definitely going.
And T-Mac's my favorite player of all time. So I don't hate
he really?
T-Mac. Yeah, he's actually.
You hate him. You put Wade over T-Mac. You hate T-Mac. That's how it goes.
So look, my thing is, I got
What?
Y'all heard about what just happened?
No, what happened?
What?
That ref just quit, man. The ref that they had those charges, the investigation on.
In the NBA, right?
About that
Eric Lewis, man. You remember when they had that game with the Lakers in Boston and Brown went crazy?
Yeah.
And they were investigating him. He just retired. He just quit.
Merry retirement, man.
And he was a big deal. Like he ref in the finals. He was a big deal.
They had to have found something damaging to the league on him for him to just retire like that, because he was still kind of young. So that's crazy, bro.
He been around for a while, Ticket.
Yeah, man.
You ain't reffing in the NBA finals. You ain't reffing in the conference finals if you only been around 4 or 5 years. He been around at least a decade, at least.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, he still didn't have like a lot of. He still had a few more years left. Like he wouldn't have retired now if this situation didn't come up, man. So that's kind of crazy. I know the information probably gonna come out on what he did, but it was nasty. They were saying like his family was Boston Celtics fans, and if the NBA has another scandal like that, bro, it might get real bad, bro. Like you know, remember they had the Donahue scandal, and you already had people saying that they thought refs was throwing games and cheating games from certain teams. Yeah. Well, you know, if that comes out that's the reason why he retires, because the NBA found some things about him that, you know what I'm saying, that's gonna really hurt the product of the NBA, because it's gonna make a lot of people think
about the integrity of the game. The last thing the NBA want is for the NBA to be the WWE. They don't want that. Hell
no. Fake. No real sport.
All right, y'all, keeping it pushing.
Gambling in ain't helping.
Terry with two dads said Kyle Lowry is 10 also. V-Rose said, who are y'all top 10 most skilled offensive players ever? And Chill, where do you rank my compatriot Oscar Schmidt in your all-time foreign players?
He was a fantastic foreign player. He never played in the NBA, so I can't really talk about him like I talk about Kukoc and Detlef Schrempf and Tony. I can't talk about him like, because they played against those other guys. Oscar Schmidt played against those guys in the Olympics and in the FIBA World Championships and in the Pan American Games also in like '86, something like that. He didn't come to the States, so I can't talk about him like I talk about those other two. But he was fantastic. I think he's unofficially the all-time leading scorer in basketball history. He got like something like 48,000 points or some nonsense like that. Yeah. Top 10 most skilled players.
Top 10 most skilled offensive players is not something you can do in 2 minutes. That's like a whole show.
Right. That's a segment.
Yo, can I just address something? I'm looking at a chat here. I'm seeing some common shit. I hate Allen Iverson because I hate black people.
Oh, here we go. Here we
man,
go
if you hate black people, you hate
That's
black
why
people.
I hate Allen Iverson, because I hate black people and I hate hip hop.
Clip that. We'll use that for black. We'll clip that. Use that for blackmail.
Yeah.
I mean, okay,
and
bro.
just so you know,
Okay.
a pirate. Just so you know, pirate.
You just said I hate Allen Iverson.
Just so you know, pirate. I'm down on Luka. I don't like white
You're
people.
gonna clip that, yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with me, pirate. Yeah. I'm down on Luka. I don't like white people.
Bro,
I don't like white people. That's why I'm down on Luka.
I don't got time for this kind of ridiculous stuff.
It is. If you don't like black people, it is. Let's just get to our super chats.
All right, Boog said, I'm assuming when people put Bron over Kobe, when people put Bron over Kobe, 5 over 4, plus when he won back-to-back with and without Shaq, Bron only did it once. Only edge Bron has is playmaking.
Longevity.
Drink More Water said, that would be a good episode. Make a list of different skills on the court and debate on who is the best at each category, i.e., best scorer, shooter, passing, rebounder, screener, switcher, etc. Screener, switcher is crazy.
Who's the best screener in NBA?
Best screener of all time.
Malone.
John Stockton, man. John Stockton with his little dirty screens of his little elbows. Don't think I didn't see you, John. Fraud.
Desto said, I love the lineup change. USA had slow starts due to fit and redundancy. Had their best start today, and Ingram had his best game. Salute, fellas.
Interesting. I might try to find a way to watch the finals, like the final game when it happens. Legally.
Big Don Rich said the Pistons were tanking last year. This is a better roster with the better player back and a way better coach. Coach Casey gave up on the team last year.
Isn't he now in like the front office?
Yes.
So he just gave up on his job because he wanted.
Yeah, I'm not sure you want someone who gave up on the team in your front office. I think the team just committed to trying to get one.
No, it was just either that or he get fired, which doesn't really make sense because don't give him a promotion.
You're either fired or you get a promotion. Which one you want? Yeah. Oh, I guess that's such a hard decision.
Well, what other sense does it make, Moss? He really wasn't that good at his job. So if you're not good at the job, you don't give a person a promotion. He's in the front office now.
8 Gates Lee said, I've never seen this much hype for the last team in the league.
Because we watched that team play.
Okay, first of all, yes, you did. Because the Boston Celtics in 07-08, the year before, they had the worst record in the NBA. So kill it. Yes, you did.
ChillTown.
Technically, you got cooked, but we know why that was different. But technically, you got cooked, buddy.
Phil, was he not great at his job, or was the players trash?
In Detroit?
Yeah. I think it was a combination of the two. I want to ask you a question. Would you say that same thing if you didn't know who Greg Popovich was and you watched him the last couple of years with the Spurs?
If I watched Greg Popovich over the last couple of years,
would you say the same thing about him as a coach that you just said about Dwayne Casey?
I don't know if those two things are the same.
He's saying basically with the Spurs not being a successful team,
right?
We give Pop still gets the benefit of the doubt. Great coach based on everything he's done previously. But if Greg Popovich was a new head coach, he got hired in 2020, and the Spurs just did nothing but miss the playoffs, worst record in the NBA. Would we call him a good coach, or would we talk about him how we talk about Dwayne Casey? Is that that's what?
Well, then we would have to put those two together. So Dwayne Casey, if he was a new coach coming into the NBA and he wasn't winning, just like if Pop was a new coach coming into the NBA, I would look at them the same way.
Oh no, well, Mars hit what I was saying, but he kind of missed it.
Basically, is Popovich living off reputation right now?
Yeah, there you go.
Is Pop living off reputation? I mean, didn't Spurs make the playoffs a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, something like that?
They were in the play-in in 21, I think.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, they made the playoffs.
Right now, I'm saying, but if you gave him the same team that Dwayne Casey had in Detroit, he had the same results. Would you say that about Pop? Knowing because you said Dwayne Casey, you basically just said he was a bad coach, but he's shown you that he's done.
No, I didn't say he was a bad coach. No. What I said was he did a bad job. That's what I said.
Well, I mean, how can you say how can you evaluate him with the players they had? Some of his key players were hurt. He had Killian Hayes starting.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and I can say the same thing. And I can say the same thing about Greg Popovich, who loses his leading scorer in DeMar DeRozan. Not only does he lose his leading scorer in DeMar DeRozan, so now he's basically building with the crew that he's got, and they're just not. And he has some bad draft picks too, so I can't leave that part out. He's definitely had some bad draft picks. So, and these guys haven't been the best. But to answer your question, if I had to pick between the two, would I say that both of these dudes are both of these dudes doing bad coaching jobs? Yes.
Okay. I just don't think, I don't agree. I just think the teams are bad. I just think the personnel are bad, and that's why the coaches look bad. Because when you give them better personnel, Dwayne Casey looked real good when he had better personnel. So did Pop. You've seen no ticket. You've seen coaches win with less, not with what Casey had or what Greg Popovich had. You've seen coaches win, and when I say win, I mean like make the playoffs or get close to making the playoffs, as opposed to being at the bottom of the league. You've seen teams. But who did he have? Hold on, but who did he have? Cunningham was hurt.
Right.
Killian Hayes the bust. Isaiah Stewart trying to punch LeBron James in the face.
Right. I could say the same thing about Greg Popovich. I mean, what was going on in San Antonio? What's his name? Kelton. I keep Kelton. I got Keldon. That's his name. Keldon. I think Corey Joseph was on that crew. Who was
which team? Which team are we talking about?
San Antonio. Keldon Johnson. This season that just passed.
Keldon, Devin Vassell, Trey Jones, right. Jeremy Sohan.
Like these.
Right. Is that coaching? Or is that just a bad roster? That's all I'm asking.
I think it's a combination of the two. I don't think it's all on the coach, but I don't think it's all on the roster neither. Because I do have pros. It's not like I got a bunch of high school kids. It's not like I got a bunch of guys from the CBA. I got pros.
All right, y'all. Moving along. Gonna stay on these super chats. Keep it pushing. MP13 said an example of a talking point was he portrayed Kobe winning under the triangle system as a negative because it's designed for shot chucking. I stayed to hear his perspective if someone can make an interesting point.
Yeah, he lost me.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, he was talking
about Lamont, talking about Kobe and the triangle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he lost me. He lost me. He lost me. I don't know how the triangle is designed for shot tracking. So,
which is not. By the way.
I mean, it's designed for ball movement. So, lost me a little bit with that one.
That's what I thought.
The Big Herb said, Pirate, I understand and respect your list and opinion on AI and other players, but man, the chat and probably the channel ain't gonna let you live it down, my man.
I think we got to suspend.
No,
Pirate,
I know,
man.
and they will not. Yeah, so here lists are so funny because people they don't care about your criteria if the name is at the number they want the name to be. If the name is not at the number they want it to be, they will not listen to your criteria at all. So let me just change it. I have a new top 100 list based on the most talented players to ever play in the NBA, and Allen Iverson is on it. So now we agree. Everybody, we agree. Allen Iverson is a top 100 player. Now I'm going to judge him on raw talent, and I agree with you. We're on the same page. I used your criteria, and so now we agree. Okay?
There you go. Hey, Ron, I got to bounce, brother.
All right, y'all.
I will see you dudes tomorrow.
Yep.
Yes,
later.
Sir.
All right, y'all. Last but not least, we got one more super chat for the day. Blind Tay 313 said, hot take, Kings will not make the playoffs. Denver, Warriors, Suns, Lakers, Dallas, Clippers, Timberwolves, Grizzlies, OKC will all have better records.
We needed to read that when Ox was here. Like that's the stuff that we needed to read when Ox was here. Our host. I would have read that if I was the host.
He snuck out of here early.
Mm-hmm.
Ducking the grind.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, same time tomorrow. You know where to find us. You know where we'll be. And we'll probably be talking about the Chicago Bulls. So if you're a Bulls fan, pull up so you can hear about any Bulls agendas that any of us may or may not be pushing. Yes, DeMar DeRozan tomorrow. All right, until then, y'all be smooth.